is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
Tuesday night prior to Game 5, Vancouver's rallying cry, let's get ready to make the Jets tumble. And the Canucks had Winnipeg on the ropes early. Greg Adams made it 3-1 after the opening round. But in the second, Jets served notice they wouldn't go down without a fight. Keith Tkachuk made it 3-2. Off the canvas in the third, Darren Shannon's second scoring blow of the night pointed to overtime. The Canucks still looked for the knockout blow, but Bob Essenza took all Vancouver could dish out, while Teemu Selanne looked for his opening. Soon it was seconds out, and the cornermen prepared for sudden death.
Gets around Merson, one hands the pass in front, passes in front again, they score! The Jets win it in overtime!
Tonight, the Jets and Canucks tie another one on. It's round 6. Welcome back to the White House in Winnipeg, where earplugs are optional but recommended, and where Pat Quinn's ears may be burning tonight after describing this frenzy at the Winnipeg Arena in Games 3 and 4 as contrived like a game show. Well, those comments have struck a few vocal chords here at the Winnipeg Arena. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Game 6 of this White Division semifinal. Maybe we can excuse Pat Quinn for those comments. After all, this is Monty Hall's old neighborhood, and this game certainly is the biggest show in town. But nothing contrived about the ticket sales for this game. After the Jets win in Game 5, 7,000 seats were sold in around 3 hours. The excitement caused because the Jets had finally won a game when they faced elimination in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And with that behind them, there's now a sense that this team can come back from 3-1 down and win the series, which is exactly what Vancouver did against Winnipeg last year in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. As you can hear, the atmosphere is terrific, and with their thoughts, upstairs we go to Steve Armitage and John Garrett.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, everyone. Chris, it's good to have you with us. One of the big stories in Game 5 in Vancouver was the Canucks' inability to finish the Jets off. John Garrett, they had them on the ropes.
They really did when it was 3-1, and then it was 3-3. They had the only power play of the third period. They had some chances, but again, they couldn't convert, and it's been like that for most of the series. Lots of opportunities, but just not enough to put the Jets away.
You know, if you're looking for unsung heroes among the Winnipeg Jets, how about Thomas Steen and Darren Shannon?
They've done everything for the Winnipeg Jets and John Paddock. They've killed penalties. They've played on the power plays. Steen has taken key faceoffs for Paddock, and they combined for the tying goal in Game 5. And it was just hard work. Thomas Steen, and look at Shannon fight off his check, use his strength, and even falling down, he's able to get it by Kirk McLean. And that's the way Shannon played for this entire series.
I've always been impressed with the play of Pavel Bure when he has the puck. But how about Bure away from the puck?
I think he really learned last year, during the playoffs, you have to pick up both ends of the ice. And he's done it here in this series. For Pat Quinn, he's come back, he's used his feet, and he ties up the stick. And that's what you have to do. Look at Selanne. There's no way Selanne could get his stick on that puck. And going to the net, there's nothing like a great goal scorer. Get his stick on the puck and it's in. Look at Pavel Bure, quick hands on the backhand. No chance for Bob Essenza.
And there's no question that Pat Quinn would like a big performance from Pavel Bure tonight. It's Game 6 here at the arena in Winnipeg. This is Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Teams are on the ice at the arena in Winnipeg, and a huge ovation for Teemu Selanne and the Jets as they made their way onto the ice. A lot of these fans probably didn't think there would be another home game when Winnipeg went to Vancouver for Game 5 on Tuesday night, but they're in a celebratory mood tonight as the Finnish Flash's overtime goal has forced Game 6 in this series. Well, there are 2 other series that could end tonight, with the home teams holding the hammer in Toronto and Los Angeles. The game at Maple Leaf Gardens is Through one period of play, the Detroit Red Wings, down 3-2 in the series, open the scoring. Dallas Drake tucks home that rebound behind Felix Potvin on a power play. 3 minutes later, here's a shot from Bob Rouse. Tim Shovelday makes the save, but cashing the rebound, Peter Zezel, his first goal of the series, and that ties the game at 1. And the Leafs, late in the first period, take the lead. On a strange one, Konstantinov back to get the puck, but Dave Andreychuk takes it away. What's Tim Shovelday doing out of the net like that? He gets burned by Andreychuk, his 6th of the playoffs. Leafs at the intermission with a 2-1 lead as they try to advance to the second round. The other game tonight, the Flames at Los Angeles, Kings leading the series 3-2. And that game will be underway in a couple of hours from now. And the folks in BC will see that game following our telecast tonight in Manitoba. Viewers will see it following the news after Game 6 of our game. Right now, we rejoin Steve Armitage and John Garrett.
Thank you, Chris. The Sea of White just getting pumped up as we get set for the national anthem here at the arena in Winnipeg. White noise in a sea of white. White pom-poms everywhere the eye can see. Another sellout for the Stanley Cup playoffs here in Winnipeg. And as Chris pointed out, perhaps the fans in Winnipeg weren't expecting a Game 6, but they have certainly responded.
And they just announced Keith Tkachuk, who is probably the most popular player here next to Teemu Selanne. He's really captured the hearts of these people because of his aggressive style of play, and I think Keith Tkachuk has a great future. In a year or two, he'll really be like a Cam Neely player.
The noise just continues to build in preparation for Game 6. The coach of the Winnipeg Jets, John Paddock. And now, our national anthem from the arena in Winnipeg. The stadium in Chicago, where the fans go from the opening bars of their anthem to the end. Kirk McLean making his 6th straight starting goal for the Vancouver Canucks. He has won 3, lost 2, has a goals against average of 2.75. At the other end of the ice, Bob Essensa also making his 6th straight appearance. His record 2-3, and his goals against average 3.17. The referee for tonight, fresh from the LA Calgary series, Paul Stewart, the linesman Ron Finn, and Brian Murphy. And Game 6 in the Smythe Division semifinal between the Canucks and the Jets is underway here in Winnipeg. This is Mike Lawler behind his own net. Pass to Tkachuk. Dumped in by Numminen. Dana Merson there for Vancouver. In the first 4 games, the team that scored the opening goal went on to win the game. The Jets reversed that trend in Game 5 in Vancouver.
And the Vancouver Canucks would like to score first here to get the crowd out of the game if they could.
This is Ronning. Shot blocked by Ty Domi. Jets come away. Thomas Steve. Passing to Teppo Numminen. Couldn't hang on to it. This is Momesso. At center. Dumps it in right side. King fires it in. Eagles couldn't get to it. Greg Adams, long pass at the right side, looking for Pavel Bure. Sergei Baltin, backhander off the side boards. Intercepted by Greg Adams. Adams fires it in off the skate of referee Paul Stewart. This is Phil Housley, and he fires it into the stands.
You look at the Vancouver Canucks. Few changes for Pat Quinn tonight. He's going with 7 defensemen again. Sergio Momesso playing with Ronnie and Linden, and Jeff Courtnall, who was very good in games 1 and 2 and hasn't been nearly as effective in the last 3 games. He has been demoted, and Yuri Slager is back in the lineup. Slager played in game 4, was a factor. Jim Sandlak didn't make the trip. His back problem still acting up, and Gino Ojic has yet to get in for the Vancouver Canucks.
The face-off in the Jet zone to the right of Bob Essenza. Jamnik loses the draw, but the Jets come away with it. Here's a chance for Teemu Selanne. Gets the shot away. First save of the game for Kirk McLean. Pavel Bure behind his own net loses it. Lidster has to come over and help. Samolov ahead to Bure. Bure to Adams. Drop pass for Bure. His shot saved by Essenza. Jamnov working against the boards by Samolov. Jamnov plays it to Phil Housley. Housley backhand pass to Shannon. Back in the middle of Housley. Housley dumps it in right side. McLean plays it. Leaves it for Robert Dirk. He takes a hit from Darren Shannon. This is Pavel Bure. Up on the left wing for Adams, unable to control it. Cleared by Bob Essenza. Teppo Numminen. Can't control it. Dana Merzen. Pass to Dixon Ward. He was looking for Trevor Linden. Stu Barnes against Merzen. Into the corner. Andy Brickley making his first start in the series. Wearing number 23 for the Jets. This is Mike Lawler. Back into Barnes. Couldn't get the pass in front. And the Canucks captain Trevor Linden at center ice. Leaves it for Dixon Ward. His shot from well out is wide. Dana Merzen at the point. His shot is wide. Brickley banks it off the boards. Here's a chance for Stu Barnes. It's a 2-on-1. Barnes shot scores!
Here tonight.
The young man who played most of his junior hockey in New Westminster, British Columbia, has opened the scoring for the Winnipeg Jets. It's his first goal of the playoffs. He had a couple of assists coming into this one, but that's a big goal indeed for Winnipeg as they take a 1-0 lead with 17:05 remaining to play in the opening period.
Scored by number 14.
Savage ahead to Nedved. Stripped by Kennedy.
That's a 2-line pass, and it is noisy in here, Steve. Andy Brickley chipped it up and over Jyrki Lumme, and Brickley gets the only assist. This line played together in Moncton. Barnes, Brickley, and Romanek. And Moncton was eliminated by the St. John's Maple Leafs, so Brickley and Romanek became available. They brought some extra players in. Brickley, the veteran, used to some playoff action, and Russ Romanek saw some playoff action last year. Now watch Barnes go to his forehand. Right by Dana Merzen there, and a quick shot doesn't give Kirk McLean enough time to get set.
This is Murray Craven working in on the right side of the Jets zone. Nedved trailing on the play. It's the Jets who come away with it. Then Babbage gets it for Vancouver. And that's a 2-line pass up to Jeff Courtnall.
And you can ask Pat Quinn, he doesn't want all these long passes as we look at Peter Nedved. And Pat Quinn, he talked about separation, time, and space, taking it away from that much of a chance on.
Peter Nedved working the face-off against Jamnoff. The Jets get the draw. Olsen backhands it in. Doug Lidster for Vancouver plays it off the end boards ahead to Courtnall. Courtnall into the neutral ice area. This is Dean Kennedy knocking him back in down the left side. Kachuk going against Lidster. It's Lidster who goes down. 16:26 remaining to play. Opening period. Jets on top by 1.
Oh baby, I can't stand still. I'll keep on working, and the hours will keep on moving. Yeah, looking for the sun. A lifetime of driving, baby, but the thrill is on. I can't stand still.
Ford F-Series trucks. They've kept Canada moving with the best-selling pickups for over 27 years.
It's uniquely refreshing. It's naturally clear. It has no artificial color, no artificial flavors, and no caffeine. What is it? 7-Up. The original clear beverage. Nothing could be more refreshing.
In Toronto, Detroit trailed 2-1 after one period, but have struck quickly in the second on the power play at the 26-second mark off of Sylvain Lefebvre, and Dino Ciccarelli, his favorite spot right in front of the net, ties the game at 2, and then 51 seconds later, it's Paul Coffey. This looks like it deflects off Jamie McCowan's stick, and quickly, early second period, Detroit leads Toronto 3-2.
And here at the arena in Winnipeg, it is the Jets leading the Canucks 1-0 on a goal from Stu Barnes, his first of the playoffs. A face-off in the Jet zone. It'll be Cliff Ronning against Alexei Zhamnov. Shot from Trevor Linden wide. Lidster keeps it in. And then the Jets clear into the neutral zone. Shot back in by Robert Dirk. Another 22. Mike Lawler has it for Winnipeg. At the blue line, this is Cliff Ronning, and the play is blown down.
And Sergio Momesso might get a 5-minute penalty on this one. He hit Ty Domi from behind. And now you can see Mike Lawler has words with Momesso as he goes to the penalty box, and Paul Stewart is over checking on Domi. And Domi is down. Domi has played a very disciplined series. Now watch, Domi's got his back to the play, and in comes Sergio Momesso. And that was a hit. Domi not able to protect himself, blindsided. And Momesso is just getting 2. You can see Paul Stewart with the 2 up, and it's a boarding call. And Momesso is lucky he didn't get 5 on that one.
Sergio Momesso, 2 minutes for boarding.
So the first opportunity to get the power play working will go to the Winnipeg Jets.
And their power play has been very good. It is second overall, only behind the Washington Capitals, who aren't playing anymore, so maybe we could say it's first overall.
We got Zhamnov, Solani, and Shannon, the forwards for the Jets. This is Teemu Solani working against Jyrki Lume. Backhands it into the corner to Shannon. Finds Zhamnov. Back to Shannon. Olsen. Back to Zhamnov. Olsen one time, and it goes off the skate of Semenov. Takes the shot, gets it back to Zhamnov. One time, wide by about a foot. We'll try the left point. Housley back in the middle to Olsen. Zhamnov moving in. Not cleared. Olsen. That shot goes off his stick into the corner. Behind the net, Darren Shannon. Zhamnov. Back to the point to Frederick Olsen. Slides it across to Housley. Housley's shot blocked in front by Jyrki Lume. And the Canucks finally able to clear.
Some good pressure by the Winnipeg Jets. Good puck movement and a couple of chances for Frederick Olsen that just didn't get through.
That was a chance for Kachuk. Back to Teppo Numminen. 43 seconds left in the power play. Numminen Across to Housley. Back to Numminen. Jets working it around well. One-time shot wide of the mark from Jamnock. McLean turns that aside. Tkachuk back to Numminen. Back behind the net to Tkachuk. Jamnock to Tkachuk. Back to Numminen. Housley. Numminen. Housley shot. McLean makes the save. Can't hang on. Still a loose puck behind the net. Finally, golfed down the ice by Gerald Diddick.
And the Canucks have killed off that penalty.
Here's a chance for Tkachuk. Working against Lidster. Couldn't get the pass away. Cliff Ronning coming out for Vancouver. Canucks trail 1-0. Ronning still has it. Looking for Momesso in front. Momesso shot, and Stewart waves it off.
And there's going to be a penalty against the Vancouver Canucks for goaltending interference. Paul Stewart goes to the box. That Jet power play that looked very good on their last chance is going to get another one. Now look at Momesso. He's in the crease to start with, and then in comes Tim Hunter.
I don't know that Hunter wasn't held in there for a few seconds.
And the faceoff comes outside. Well, Momesso is in to start with, but look at Tim Hunter. He drives to the net, and he wasn't pushed in to start with, and that's why Hunter is going off.
As you pointed out, John, the Jets' power play was impressive just a few moments ago. They'll get a second crack at it now.
And there's no penalty for interference as they just disallowed the goal because Momesso and Hunter were both in the crease. I thought he might call goaltending interference because Hunter pushed Bob Essenza into the back of the net.
And we've got Romanuk, Barnes, and Andy Brickley out there up front for the Winnipeg Jets. Dean Kennedy and Olesen, the point men. Jets with the man advantage. 13:42 to play, opening period. Jets lead 1-0. Puck behind the Canucks net. Lidster digging for it. Finally ends up on the mesh, and the play is blown down.
The Winnipeg Jets have made some lineup changes with their additions from their Moncton Farm team. You look at their lines, Andy Brickley and Russ Romanuk involved in that Barnes goal, although Romanuk didn't get an assist. He jumped up into the play and created the 2-on-1. Their defense pairings looked much similar to what they were in Game 5, the game they won in Vancouver, and their scratches, Igor Ulanov, who played in Game 5, he's out. John Bruce, who dressed, he also is not playing tonight.
Puck shot in by Numminen. McLean plays it. Leaves it there for Merzen. Merzen also almost lost it when he came in front. This is Dixon Ward. Big shot. Blocked by Numminen. Ward back to Cliff Ronning. Ronning tried to find Tim Hunter. Ronning sent sprawling. This is Romanuk. Dumps it in. McLean forced to play it. Merzen hit hard. Lawler backhands it ahead. Teppo Numminen starts out for the Jets. 12:45 to play, opening period. Winnipeg leading 1-0. Eagles shot is blocked. Pavel Bure comes back for Vancouver. 2-on-2. Adams shot and turned aside by Bob Essenza. This is Bure. Passing in the middle. Babbage with the shot. It's blocked. And Eagles gets it caught up in his sweater. White noise alive and well here in Winnipeg.
You can go as far as your heart can see. Be on any road that you want to be. It's your day. You're on your way.
At Esso, we never lose sight of what's most important to you.
You're on your way with Esso. It's your day. You're on your way.
Hey, they're having fun here today with Sports Select. All right, who's up front? I said who?
He said how.
Hey, Gordie Howe, what do you think of Sports Select?
It's like playing again.
Hey, it's fun counting up those wins.
Didn't count too many when you're a coach.
You still might have a job.
Who's in charge here?
Blue knows a winner.
Blue, hit the showers.
You better have a talk with that pup.
Get in the winner's circle. Make your Sports Select wager.
Okay.
Bob Essensa tested on the shot from Greg Adams. Look at where Essensa is. Perfect position. Saw it all the way. As we look at the familiar now Avro Aero mask with Bob Essensa. Good save by the Jet goaltender.
The face-off in the Jet zone to the right of Essensa. Semenoff wins the draw. Babbage shot is wide. Essensa just plays it back to Housley. Backhands it ahead to Borsato. Bure forced back into his own zone. Plays it ahead to Babbage. Babbage gets by Solani. Pass to Adams. Adams going deep against Boughton. Ridden into the boards by the big Russian defenseman. Semenoff tries a one-timer. Housley plays it behind his own net for his defensive mate, Sergei Boughton. Boughton's pass goes off the stick of Semenoff. Semenoff gets it ahead to Adams. Adams shot wide, but not by much. Lidster slaps it back into the Jet zone. Robert Dirk comes up into the play and touches it, and the play is blown down.
Dirk was doubtful again tonight as he missed game 4 here with an unknown injury, although some people have said it's a hip pointer. Thing with Paul Stewart refereeing, you know you're going to be able to hit and make contact, and he's not going to make the calls that you see some other referees make. So a bigger team like the Vancouver Canucks should take advantage of it. As we have goals by period, you see the Vancouver Canucks outscoring the Winnipeg Jets 8-5 in the first period. But look at that overtime stat. That does have an effect.
11:33 remaining to play in the opening period here in game number 6 at the Winnipeg Arena. And it's the Jets who lead on a goal from Stu Barnes, his first of the playoffs. Dirk shoots it in. Linden giving chase. Nedved couldn't get to it before Teppo Numminen dumped it down the ice. Lidster for the Canucks. Ahead to Linden. Linden just got a stick on it. Knocked it into the center ice area. Jeff Courtnall couldn't control it. Teppo Numminen has it for the Jets. Tries to find Domi with the pass. Too far. Lawler tried to play it off the boards.
Ty Domi, who was crunched by Sergio Momesso, back on the ice. This is his first shift back. And you see his 23 minutes. He took a major against Jyrki Lume in game 3, and most of his 23 minutes were piled up in that game. The Winnipeg Jets talk about the addition of Domi and King, and it wasn't so much that they felt bigger, but guys like Phil Housley and Teppo Numminen had a lot more room. And Keith Tkachuk could concentrate on playing more as a player, the same as Darren Shannon, who really weren't in the heavyweight category. And it was a big addition getting Domi and Chris King.
If you've just joined us, Steve Armitage along with John Garrett in the booth and Chris Cuthbert down in our intermission studio. We've got 10:55 to play in the opening period here in Winnipeg in game number 6. The Jets trailing the series 3-2, but they lead this one 1-0. Tim Hunter loses the puck to Stu Barnes. Merzen winds up and fires it into the Jet zone. Dean Kennedy can't play it. Barnes has it stripped by Hunter. Hunter using his skates along the board. Dixon Ward digging for it. Craven winds up with it behind the Jets net, but can't make a play. Now Stu Barnes starts out for the Jets. Moving it down the left side. Barnes. Shot goes off of Lume. Craven plays it off the boards. The Jets captain Kennedy plays it ahead to Olesen. Barnes around the boards. Craven Gets to it for Vancouver. Sergei Boughton. Up to Romanuk. Romanuk off the boards. Taken there by Didick. Didick shoots it in. A bouncer. Handled by Essenza. Play a little ragged. Babbage. His pass intercepted. This is Eagles for the Jets at the Canucks blue line. Eagles with the shot. And McLean hangs on.
Mike Eagles with a burst of speed and firing at the net, hoping for a rebound, but Kurt McLean standing up well. Got his big trapper out to make the save and control that rebound. Eagles looking for his first point of these playoffs, but he's done the job defensively for the Winnipeg Jets, especially on faceoffs.
Don't forget Game 6 in the Calgary Flame LA Kings series following this telecast in BC and after the news in Manitoba. So all viewers will see that game tonight. Gerald Didick can't clear the zone effectively with a pass that was going anywhere.
Knocked down with a high stick at center ice. Call made by Ron Finn. We look at Dave Babbage, and Dave Babbage, who has played very well in this series, had a few problems in Game 5. Wasn't nearly as effective as he was in the first 4 games. And this playing every other night and the playoff intensity, it's bound to start to take its toll on some of the players who have had some injuries through the year, like Dave Babbage.
Babbage has the puck now for the Canucks. Plays it ahead to Trevor Linden. To Ronnie. Ronnie gets a shot away wide. Gets his own rebound. Ronnie loses it to Borsato. Babbage pinching in. Behind the net for Ronnie. Numanen off the boards to Borsato. He slaps it ahead to Eagles. Tied up by Babbage. Knocked into the Canucks zone. McLean behind his own net. Shot from well out, taken by Babbage. He plays it off the glass, but he can't clear it. This is Thomas Steen to Solani. Solani's backhander. King was in the right place for the rebound, but didn't get it. Ronnie ahead to Jeff Courtnall. Courtnall one move and then loses it. Solani backhands it ahead to Steen. He gets behind Dirk, but he can't control the puck. Courtnall bodied by Steen. Dirk plays it off the boards. Pavel Bure gets it to Semenov. Semenov against Housley, waiting for some support. Gets it from Bure. Bure gets the shot away and then goes into Essenza. Dirk's shot blocked by Sergei Boughton. Boughton's pass intended for Teemu Solani. Couldn't control it. This is Dirk to Bure. Back to Dirk. Ahead to Adams. Domi ran into Dirk that time. That drew some response from the crowd. Domi fires it into the Canucks zone on the left side. This is Dana Merzen. Pavel Bure leaves it for Lume. Lume's shot off the stick of Bob Essenza. And every time a Jet throws a check, the crowd goes into a frenzy.
And especially Ty Domi. It was Domi on Pavel Bure that time.
Olsen taking a pass away from Adams. And then is cleared down the ice by the Winnipeg Jets. Merzen goes back to touch it, and the Jets will be called for icing. Jets lead by 1.
They go, give us a launch spot with plenty of action and lots of gorgeous women. We go, we don't think so. The action only starts on May 3rd, and then every gorgeous woman in Canada will know that the ice is black.
You're looking at one Canadian. Like 12 million other Canadians, she works for a living. Like 500,000, she studies part-time. And like 7 million, she's raising a family. To some, she may seem like any other Canadian. But to Royal Bank, she's an individual who receives her personal bank statements in Braille. True, we have 8 million other customers, but we got to be Canada's largest bank, one customer at a time.
I used pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection.
In Toronto, specialty teams, the story for Detroit tonight, 2 power play goals, and now a short-handed marker. Paul Eisbart sent in by Sergei Fedorov, his second of the series. The third short-handed goal for Detroit in the series. They lead 4-2 second period.
6 goals in Toronto, Chris. We've only had 1 here in Winnipeg. That going to the Jets from Stu Barnes, his first of the playoffs, and that coming at 2:55 of the period. Shot from well out is wide. Canucks can't keep it in the Jets zone. Dana Merzen plays it through the middle, and it'll go all the way back into the Jets zone. Olofsson tries to clear it along the boards. Kept in by Merzen. Olofsson now tried to find Brickley with a pass. McLean comes out to leave it for Jyrki Lume. Lume being watched by Stu Barnes. Barnes goes down. Nedved plays it on the right side for Dixon Ward. And Ward is taken into the boards by Teppo Numminen. Nedved being watched by Romanuk. Pass in front. Ward couldn't get to it. Cleared by the Jets. Diddick for Babbage. One-time shot from Babbage, blocked in front. Jets able to clear.
And finally able to clear. Twice they had complete control and didn't get it out over the blue line.
Diddick can't control it. Leaves it for Mike Lawler of the Jets. Cuts in front of Essenza. And then flipped down the ice. And chasing for it is Eagles. It's touched. And the Winnipeg Jets will be called for icing.
The fans didn't like it, but that was a good call by Brian Murphy as Gerald Diddick got his stick on it. And you see Mike Eagles didn't complain. As you look at Ty Domi, the Canucks are a bigger team than the Winnipeg Jets, but it's been mostly Jets here in the first period doing the hitting. Good clean hit by Domi on Bure. We have the hits unofficially at 9-2 right now, and it's in favor of the Winnipeg Jets. Playing at home, they've got the white noise. Pavel Bure, he's not very big, but he's tough. He goes down, looks for a penalty, but he always bounces back and is out there the next shift.
On average, the Canucks 2 inches taller and 10 pounds heavier than the Winnipeg Jets. The faceoff in the Jets zone to the right of Bob Essenza. Eagles will work this faceoff against Cliff Ronning. 5:48 to play, opening period. Jets lead 1-0. Shot by Ronning, turned aside by Essenza. Housley tried to play it off the glass, but it went into the crowd.
Now, Sergei Boughton has words with Trevor Linden as Linden hit Phil Housley. And that's why Boughton's in the lineup, his physical presence, playing with Phil Housley. And right from the faceoff, watch Cliff Ronning jump by Mike Eagles, and he gets a good chance, but Bob Essens is there. And Housley just fired it around and got it out. You really have to watch Ronning. He's quick on his feet and got quick hands.
2 goals and 2 assists so far in the series for Cliff Ronning. Lidster, his shot taken by Lawler. Omesso there for the Canucks, and then it's slashed into the Jet zone by Ronning. Trevor Linden working against Numminen. Lawler comes in to help out behind his own goal. Lawler to Numminen. Up to Chris King. King off the boards looking for Mike Eagles. Eagles working against Dirk. This is Eagles looking for somebody to pass to, and there's nothing but black sweaters in front. Cliff Ronning at the blue line. Ronning shot, save, Essenza.
Cliff Ronning, we talked about his quick feet, quick hands, goes inside, outside on Phil Housley. Now Ronning right from in front of his own net. Watch Phil Housley right here. He fakes inside, goes outside, gets the shot away, and Bob Essenza right there make the save and control the rebound. Now watch Sergio Momesso. He's going for the rebound. It's too high. Essenza is able to get the glove on it, make the save, and control it. Momesso getting more ice time here tonight. He had the game winner in the game that the Canucks won here, Game 4, their last visit.
Shots on goal so far in the game, 9-7 favor the Jets. Dean Kennedy behind his own net. Ahead to Steen. Steen just shoots it into the Canucks zone. Merzen for Nedved. This is Olofsson. His shot blocked by Courtnall, who broke his stick on the block. Nedved at the blue line for Courtnall. Courtnall in front to Hunter, and the net is jarred loose. 4:36 to play, opening period. Jets 1, Canucks nothing.
Take a moment to compare the 93 Ford Taurus GL sedan and wagon to the imports. Taurus comes well equipped with over 24 standard features, including air, power windows, and available anti-lock brakes. You'll also discover not just one, but 2 airbags. The price? Thousands less than the imports. Wagon or sedan, just $19,995. No wonder Taurus is the best-selling car in North America.
Quality is job one. It's working.
I'm a king bee. I want you to be my queen. I'm a king bee. I want you to be my queen. Well, you know when we get together, we make honey like you've never seen. Woo, 'cause the king bee gets the honey.
They're playing Stompin' Tom Connor's Hockey Night in Canada song, and it wouldn't be Hockey Night in Canada without that man. Don Cherry will be in the coach's corner coming up during our first period intermission tonight from the Winnipeg Arena. Semenov gets it to Merzen, plays it across to Jyrki Lume. Lume backhands it in. Essensa leaves it for Sergei Boughton. Boughton slides it across to Housley. Lume keeps it in. Lume to Adams. Bure was all alone. Adams again trying to find Bure, and the play is blown down.
And a high sticking penalty against Darren Shannon. And the Canucks with a good scoring opportunity after Paul Stewart had his arm up. Here's the giveaway right there. Shannon at the blue line. He knew he had to try and bail himself out. And he takes the high sticking penalty. Pavel Bure on the backhand hits the side of the net.
For Darren Shannon, 2 minutes for high sticking.
For the first time in Game 6, the Canucks will have the man advantage on their power play. 3 for 26 will go to work.
Here's a penalty. Now look at Darren Shannon. He gave the puck away, and he's trying to bail himself out by hooking Jyrki Lume, and had the stick right around Lume's throat, and takes the high sticking penalty.
Linden at center with Adams and Bure. Craven and Yuri Slager, the point man for the Canucks, with the man advantage. Craven tries to keep it in. Cleared to the neutral ice area. Yuri Slager to Craven. 1:43 in the penalty. 3:54 remaining in the opening period. Bure slaps it in. Numminen against Adams. This is Trevor Linden. Tried to find Bure, who was open. This is Trevor Linden. Gets it back to Craven. Yuri Slager with the shot. Scores!
And Bob Essensa is complaining, saying that Greg Adams hit it with a high stick. And Ron Finn came over and talked to Paul Stewart, and I think we're going to go upstairs. And you see Yuri Slager with the blaster and the point, and Essensa went right to Stewart right away, and Ron Finn came in from the blue line. Now here we'll get another look at it. Look at Greg Adams, number 8, in front of the net. That is high, and if he touched it, that's a high stick. And we go upstairs to Wayne Forsey, the former NHL linesman, is the video goal judge here. Where's Adams' stick when he hits this one? Whoa. That's above his shoulders. And Paul Stewart is now going upstairs to Wayne Forsey.
Paul Stewart not ordering pizza. He's ordering up a replay.
Here's another angle. Now watch Greg Adams in front of the net. And where's his stick when it makes contact? Right there. And that looks like it's over his shoulder. And you see Essenson's reaction right away. Looked at Adams and then went right at Paul Stewart. And I don't think Pat Quinn has too much hope that on replay review that this one's going to stand. Now here's Slager. Now where does he make contact? It's deflected. It's high. Whoa. Boy, that's close. Greg Adams is pretty tall. That's a good thing for Adams.
And of course, that's why they have the replay.
Now we'll get another look at it. Greg Adams is 6'3". Now Adams is standing in front of the net. He's on his skates. Now where does he make contact? Whoa. Is it above his shoulder when he makes contact? It's well above his shoulder when he finishes, but it's where he made contact with the puck. And you can see Paul Stewart now wondering what is taking so long.
That's why the coaches like the defenseman to keep those shots a little bit lower for that very reason. The rising puck like that, Adams had no chance but to play it where it was.
It would have gone over the net. But as I said, Greg Adams, 6'3", on his skates. He's 6'5", 6'7". And Paul Stewart talking things over with Wayne Forsey.
Glad this is not a long-distance call.
And now he's talking things over with Canuck captain Trevor Linden. Talking things over with his linesmen, Ron Finn and Brian Murphy. And there's Trevor Linden looking on.
Hope they've got an amplifier on that phone because it is very, very difficult to hear inside.
And there's Greg Adams. One more time now. This is Yuri Slager lets the shot go. It's tipped out at the point. It's going high. And there's Greg Adams touching it. Now, is that stick over his shoulder when he hits it? When it made contact, that's very close. It's very, very close. And that's what's taking so long. It's where the puck made contact, and there we're looking upstairs to the video replay box.
Well, Trevor Linden has skated away from the officials' area to talk with the Canucks coaching staff. He may have been told already by Paul Stewart. He's not smiling.
No, and Pat Quinn is not smiling. But they're coming back, and I don't think they've decided yet. I think Paul Stewart is still talking things over with the video replay judge here in Winnipeg. And here's where they are as we're looking at the video replay booth. And there is the video replay judges. And Matt Pavlich, who is the supervisor for this series, again looking at it.
His first of the playoffs.
And they're going to count it.
24, Yuri Slager.
Now, I don't know how they can give that one to Yuri Slager.
And number 16, Trevor Linden. And with goal 16 minutes and 21 seconds.
They have to give it to Greg Adams. Greg Adams got it in front.
From Craven and Linden at 16-21.
Now watch this. Here's Slager's shot, and look at Greg Adams right there. Greg Adams tips it. And it goes back down behind Bob Essenson. But obviously the stick was below Greg Adams' shoulder. Not so obviously. I shouldn't say obviously. That was pretty close.
The time of the goal, 16:21. Yuri Slager, his first of the playoff. The assist to Murray Craven and Trevor Linden. So we are tied at 1 here at the Winnipeg Arena. And we've got 3:37 remaining to play in the opening period. Cliff Ronning goes back behind his own blue line. Ronning with one move. Tries to work his second move, has it poked away. Linden working against the boards. Momesso comes over to help out. Back in front of Momesso, and his shot is high. And then the puck is flipped over the head of Babbage. And Gerald Diddick goes deep into his own zone. Passes into the center ice area. Linden was cruising through. Sergei Boughton almost stripped of the puck by Ronning. Merzen ahead to Adams. Adams just deflects it into the zone. 2:43 to play. Canucks 1, Jets 1. Ty Domi at the blue line. Domi's shot goes off the stick of Jyrki Lume. Semenov around the boards. Owsley tries to keep it in with a backhand. Can't. Sergei Boutin now. The slapper from center ice around the boards. Merzen ahead to Semenov. He can't control it. Pavel Bure, the Russian rocket, rink wide. Semenov can't control it. Boutin has it. Ahead to Domi. Domi wheels and fires. This is Yamnov. He overskates it. Teemu Selanne breaking in on the right side. Selanne tries to pass in front to find Darren Shannon, but it didn't click. This is Pavel Bure. Waiting for some help. Semenov on the right boards. Passes to no one. Jets come away. 3-on-2. Teemu Selanne leaves it for Shannon. Back to Selanne. Selanne passes in front looking for Housley, who was pinching in. Numminen plays it off the boards. Selanne. Big shot from Alexei Zhamnov and a save by McLean. Bure gets the shot away off the blocker of Essenza. Zhamnov to Selanne. Selanne rink wide to Shannon. Shannon at the Canucks blue line as the Jets change on the fly. Mike Eagles goes down with Hunter. This is Doug Lidster. Lidster fires it in. Less than a minute remaining in the opening period here in Winnipeg, tied at 1. This is Eagles working down the right side against Babbage. Fires it around the boards. Peter Nedved there for Vancouver. Can't play it. Back to Eagles. Eagles shot. Save McLean. This is Jeff Courtnall on the left side. Courtnall backhands it in. 30 seconds to play, first period. Eagles shoots it in. McLean knocks it down. Babbage for the Canucks. Diddick back to Babbage. Babbage tried to find Ronning with the pass. 10 seconds to play, opening period, and the play is blown down.
And that's an icing call against the Vancouver Canucks.
Now let's go down to Chris for a quick update.
Steve, it continues to be a big second period for Detroit, particularly specialty teams. Another power play goal. They have 4 goals from their specialty teams tonight and 2 power play goals for Dino Ciccarelli. Now 5-2 Detroit. Leafs have a long way to come from behind in game number 6.
And can the Leafs win 2 in Joe Louis?
Looks as if they'll have to.
They'll have to.
9.7 seconds remaining in the opening period here at the Winnipeg Arena in a 1-all tie. Trevor Linden will take this face-off against Thomas Steen. Score that one a draw. Puck along the boards. Trevor Linden there along with Momesso, and then Linden gets involved with Ty Domi. They exchange glances, but little else. The buzzer has gone to end this period of play.
And they still have words as teams head to the dressing room.
And a very entertaining period it was here in Winnipeg. And so the score after the first period of play, the Jets won. The Vancouver Canucks won.
Tense night for viewers of the Canucks and the Jets and the Leafs and the Wings. We're obviously at the Gardens this evening, and at the end of 2-1, Toronto leading. Dave Anderchuk with the go-ahead goal. Don, thoughts on the period there?
I'll tell you something. Gregson's doing a great job. That's the way they let them play. That's the way to play hockey. Foligno's doing a great job again. Remember we walked in Detroit, there he was reading a book?
Yeah.
I said, what is this? What are you doing, Mike? What's happening? Well, I'm letting Gil sleep. I said, you should be playing. I'm glad Pat's listening to me. Get him in there. He's the best sleep again tonight.
Well, also Anderson had a good first period, but you mentioned Terry Gregson. Jamie McCown's second penalty. The Wings will start the second period of the game on the power play. Do you think it's do or die for Detroit?
Well,
Do I think it's do or die?
On the power play alone.
Well, no, and I'll tell you one thing, that Zezel goal, you'll never know how big that Zezel goal was, because if they ever get that second one, you know what front runners they are. They were pumped. It seemed to deflate them.
Shots were about 10-3 at that time.
Yes.
Been big in this building. Last night, Montreal eliminated Quebec after going down 2-0 in the series. Thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, Quebec, young club. They remind me of the Oilers, and they needed a good kick in the pants to try to straighten them out.
What do you think of that? Yeah.
How about Paget going down the line? You guys screaming in their ear.
Especially Sundin and Kovalenko.
Well, listen, he could have yelled in the ears of a lot of guys, but Sundin and those guys, they said, this is what it's all about. I'm sure he was yelling, next year, remember this, remember. And they got outworked, but they're a young club, and I thought Hextall played pretty good. By the way, he pulled Hextall just to get the team going, because Hextall did play good. Watch out for them in the future. They're okay.
What do you think of Montreal Buffalo?
Well, let me just first of all talk about Jacques. Jacques stuck with Waugh when he let in that Sakic goal. Remember that there one?
You would have put in red light Rascal.
I had to put in, no way I would have. Listen, Patrick Waugh's playing like he did a couple of years ago. He didn't shoot Dion, kill him after that penalty. He stuck with them. Jacques didn't panic when he was down 2-0. Smart coach, and he did the whole thing. But remember I said the third and fourth guys always win the games? Ronan and DiPietro. Let's talk about DiPietro. Mark, roll his goals right now. Little guy from the Sioux. Let's go. I call him DiPietro. Look at him coming down, puts it in, zings it. He thought he was going to pass it. Hey, what a goal, just like Guy. Here he comes, another one. There you go, Paul boy. Hesitates, just slides her along the ice. Remember what I said, kids? Along the ice all the time.
71% of all goals.
That's right. Here he comes again. Whoa, where is this guy?
Upstairs.
Sure, he had to put it upstairs. Now, remember, folks, he could make history here. He could make history. Think about him. He's had mono. He's been in the American Hockey League. He's thinking of other guys. I could be down the record books. So roll it. Here he comes in now. I could be like Guy. I could be like Mario. I could be like Wayne. I'm going to put it in. I can see headlines. No, there's Gilbert over at the side. And my buddy's having a tough time. He puts it in. I'll tell you, a little guy from the Sioux. That's what Canadian spirit's all about. Look at him jumping up here. That's why the Canadians won through grit. That's why we're going to win the World Tournament, because Canadians are the best players of all.
Your wife, Rose, is Italian. You mentioned Foligno. You mentioned DiPietro. Yeah. I thought of Frank Pietrangelo, who you always called Pietrangelo, never Frank.
Maybe I have a thing for Italians.
Gee, they do come up big in the playoffs, I'll say that. Dale Hunter, your buddy's in a little trouble for cross-checking Pierre Turgeon last night and separating his shoulder. Turgeon is gone for the playoffs.
Well, is he?
Well, that's the word out of New York at this point.
Word out of New York. He might be back for the next series.
Brutal check, though, after a goal during a moment of celebration. And the NHL this afternoon unveiled an indefinite suspension. They'll wait a week. Caps will have a chance to present their side of the story.
Yeah, and Mr. Bettman was there. He's going to say, I'm going to show you, fellows. I think he's going to be a sacrificial lamb. And what is this here a week? Could it be another Mario? You remember Scotty? Remember broken hand? I told you it wasn't a broken hand. And Scotty laid his hand. Wait a minute, his hand wasn't broken. Scotty laid his hand on his thing.
How do you know his hand wasn't broken?
Guy can't win the most valuable player with a broken hand. I didn't want to hold your hand either if you had to held it there. All I was going to say is, Scotty healed him. Who says this, if he can come back in the next series? I'm not saying what Dale was right. He knows it's wrong, and he stuck it out. But, the guy that gets me about this whole thing is Ferreira. This guy's safe in the dressing room, and he's calling Dale a jerk. Do you think he called Dale a jerk to his face? No, he might think he might.
Well, that's the heat of the moment. Everybody was pretty upset about it.
No, he wasn't. He said it in the dressing room quiet. Ferreira, cheap little guy, sitting in a thing, he might have pecked him to death with his shield. But remember, Ferreira, there's always next year.
Ferreira, or Pietrangelo, or Foligno, or DiPietro conjuring up the pasta for Don Cherry in this installment of the Coach's Corner on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Hang tough, Dale.
Coach's Corner with Don Cherry. Brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
Welcome back to the Winnipeg Arena. After 20 minutes of play here in Winnipeg, it's the Canucks 1, the Jets 1. The Canucks leading the series 3-2. A little bit of everything in the opening period here in Winnipeg.
As we look at Bob Essensa and the Winnipeg Jets, they've changed that goal to Greg Adams, as we assumed. We watched it for about 10 minutes. I couldn't believe the official scorers still had Yuri Slager with the goal. Obviously, they felt that Adams' stick was shoulder high or lower when he made contact and the Canuck goal stood.
Shots on goal in the period, 11-9 favor the Winnipeg Jets over the Canucks.
And it looks like the Toronto Maple Leafs are in deep trouble heading back to Detroit for that Game 7. Only the second intermission, but down 4. And it doesn't look like they're going anywhere tonight.
Cliff Ronning, Adams, and Bure, 2 shots apiece for the Vancouver Canucks in that opening period. Teemu Selanne and Mike Eagles, the top shooters for the Winnipeg Jets, also with a pair each. Second period just about to get underway here in Winnipeg. We are tied at 1. Eagles gets the draw back to Teppo Numminen. Numminen lays it up on the boards. Jyrki Lumme fires it back in. Taken by Mike Lawler. Lawler tried to find Eagles with a pass. Jyrki Lumme going behind his own goal. Watched by Shannon. Lumme working there, losing it to Eagles. Eagles tries the pass in front. We'd like to welcome the viewers that have been watching the Detroit-Toronto game to the Winnipeg Arena, where we are tied at 1. The second period just underway.
Stu Barnes with a pretty goal for the Winnipeg goal, and Greg Adams with a disputed power play goal. Under video replay, it was decided Greg Adams tipped it with a stick that wasn't above his shoulders. The Winnipeg Jets started the game, looked very impressive, led on by their crowd here. But then Vancouver came on in the last 10 minutes, and it was Vancouver who had most of the pressure at the end of the first period.
Vancouver Canucks have the big line of Semenoff, Adams, and Bure, with the defensive pair of Babbage and Gerald Diddick. This is Sergei Boughton for the Jets, starting out in his own zone. Boughton ahead to Steen. Shot in by Housley and blown down on the offside.
Phil Housley threw it in, and Keith Tkachuk was in ahead of that puck. Tkachuk started this series playing with Selanne and Jamnov, and John Paddock changed it around. Put Darren Shannon on the line with Jamnov and Selanne, and then changed Selanne and put him with Thomas Steen. So it's been a variety of different forwards. And Tkachuk has really played a physical series for the Winnipeg Jets.
Steen and Anatoly Semenoff on the faceoff. Boughton slides it to Housley. Back to Boughton. Boughton at his own blue line. Tkachuk. This is Greg Adams at center ice. Tried to find Bure with the lead pass. Bob Essensa steady once again in goal for the Jets. Teemu Selanne. Tkachuk breaking in on the left side. Cleared by Gerald Diddick. This is Sergei Boughton being watched by Pavel Bure. Steen. Greg Adams almost got it. Played out the boards, kept in by Semenoff, and then the Jets able to clear to the neutral zone. Babbage does well to knock that down. Glidster loses it to Shannon. Thomas Steen comes in to help out for the Jets. Shannon and Semenoff tied up. This is Thomas Steen. Selanne. Shannon to Boughton. Boughton shot, and McLean got a piece of it, knocked it high in the air. Doug Lidster can't make the play. Teemu Selanne passing in front, looking for Thomas Steen. And Housley, two-handed Bure there as he broke down the left side. Housley playing without a stick. Selanne for the Jets, loses it. Bure. away with one move too many. Dirk fires it in. This is Courtnall on the left boards. Courtnall can't control it. Ty Domi for the Jets. Dumps it in. 16:58 to play, second period. We're still tied at 1. Jamnov behind the Canucks net. Ty Domi. Every time he touches the puck, the crowd erupts here at the Winnipeg Arena. And the play is blown down.
Canucks are getting a penalty. Yuri Slager is going off for interference.
16:40 to play, second period.
Some allergy sufferers, there's no escaping the itchy, watery, puffy eyes, the sneezing, the runny nose. That's why there's Seldane. Seldane relieves these allergy symptoms fast, without drowsiness. Ask your pharmacist for Seldane, because it's Seldane time again.
Yuri Slager in the penalty box for interference. Ty Domi has drawn both penalties, and watch Slager right here. Domi doesn't have the puck until Slager slams into him, and Slager gets the interference penalty.
So the Winnipeg power play unit will go to work. Teemu Selanne, Alexei Jamnov, and Keith Tkachuk, the forwards, Olofsson and Bill Housley, the point man. There's the meter registering the white noise here in the White House in Winnipeg, Manitoba tonight. They had a white meter going at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, registering, I guess, the blue and white noise from the Leaf fans.
I bet it's not very loud at the end of the second period in Toronto tonight.
Jamnov will take this face-off against Murray Craven in the Canucks zone. Jets with the man advantage for the next 2 minutes. This is Olofsson to Housley. Back to Olofsson. Jamnov tries the one-timer, and it misfires. Jamnov keeps it in, plays it to Housley. Tried to find Tkachuk, and it's cleared by the Canucks. Jamnov for Housley, still looking for his first goal of the playoffs. Jets keep it in. Lume ahead to Linden. Linden gives it to Craven. Craven tried to find Mercer with the pass. Canucks change on the fly. 1:08 remaining in the man advantage for the Winnipeg Jets. Housley to Teemu Selanne. Ridden out the play by Didick, and the Canucks are able to clear. Right down to Bob Essenza.
Alexei Jamnov, having some skate problems, fell down by himself in his own zone and took himself out of the play.
45 seconds remaining in the man advantage for the Winnipeg Jets. McLean out of his net. Babbage able to clear. Puck comes to Anatoly Semenov. Semenov, rink wide pass to Bure. Bure, quick shot wide. Steen, rink wide to Frederick Olofsson. Olofsson around the boards to Thomas Steen. Back to the point to Teppo Numminen. Numminen to Olofsson. Back to Numminen. Steen. Shannon unable to convert. Semenov just dumps it down the ice.
And again, one too many passes. Darren Shannon in a good position to shoot that puck. Tried the cute little pass across in front, and it was broken up by the Canucks.
And the power play is over. Shots on goal, 12-10. Favor the Winnipeg Jets as the Canucks come into the zone. Eagles fires through the crease. Courtnall, one-on-one against Mike Lawler. Courtnall overskates it. Courtnall with the shot. Turned aside by Essenza. Nedved lays it for Hunter. Hunter slaps at it. Borsato knocks it ahead. Fired into the Canucks zone. Nedved taken out of the play by Eagles. Eagles passes in front. Borsato took a swipe at it, but it goes high into the crowd.
And Peter Nedved, hearing footsteps, just let Mike Eagles come in and get that puck. And one of the things Pat Quinn tries to stress to Peter Nedved is you have to play strong on the puck. And Mike Eagles just came in, and look at the expression on Pat Quinn's face. Nedved had control, and Eagles just took it away. Eagles out to Borsato, and Doug Lidster gets his stick on it and gets it up and over the glass. Robert Dirk right here on Darren Shannon. Good hip check. Shannon went down, able to get up and continue playing.
Face-off in the Canucks zone to the right of Kirk McLean. Thomas Steen against Trevor Linden. Linden wins the draw. But the Jets control. Lawler with the shot wide. Tkachuk working behind the Canucks net. Comes out to the face-off circle. It's a weak shot away. McLean able to turn it aside. Cliff Ronning for Vancouver. 13:40 to play. Second period in a 1-all tie. Ronning ahead to Momesso. Momesso's shot turned aside by Essenza. Lawler. Bumped by Linden. Plays it ahead. Steen backhands it in. Jyrki Lume there for Vancouver. Plays it off the boards. Linden can't get to it. Kennedy does. Now Ronning for Vancouver. Ronning with a shot from well out, and Essenza just ducked. That one went over top. Barnes plays it into the Canucks zone. Merzen goes back to touch it, and the Winnipeg Jets are called for icing. 12:57 remaining to play in the middle period in a 1-all tie.
So they finally noticed we found none of their ideas too inspiring. And they go, maybe Black Ice could sponsor the face-offs. And we think, not a bad idea, but we'll sponsor the penalties instead, okay? That's black, especially since on May 3rd, the ice is black. So we ask them, think it's possible for the launch to have the entire ice black and the puck white? They go, no, can't do that. And we go, hey, no great loss, because on May 3rd, the whole world will know anyway that the ice is black.
Let's compare our major competitors with Canadian Tire. They have licensed trained technicians. We have licensed trained technicians. They have high-tech equipment. So do we. They have nationwide guarantees. We have nationwide guarantees too. But when it comes to prices, we admit we're simply beneath them. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
Canucks have tried to go high on Bob Essenza. This one's too high. And Essenza self-defense gets down, out of the way. Cliff Ronning missing straight over top of the net.
How many times did you have to do that? Self-defense.
Get the glove up as fast as you can.
Face-off to the left of Essenza in the Jet zone. Sergei Boughton behind his own goal. Ahead to Eagles. Eagles works in on the right side against Babbage. Diddick there to help out for the Canucks. Comes back to Eagles. Eagles shoots, fires in front, and the Jets score!
This is Andy Brickley, who already has an assist tonight, getting the goal. And the Canucks, who have turned the puck over in their own zone here in the second period, now 4 times to Winnipeg's 0. Here's the Canuck turnover. Look at Brickley. Dave Babbage is there, but he's not there. He tries to pick up the pass from Eagles.
is enjoying every moment of this goal from Andy Brickley, his first of the playoffs.
And it is the same Andy Brickley that played for Pittsburgh, played for New Jersey, played for Boston, and has played for the Winnipeg Jets.
Andy Brickley.
John Paddock will look like a genius if the Jets go on to win this game with Brickley playing a key role.
Look at Paul DiPietro for the Montreal Canadiens last night. Now Andy Brickley here for the Winnipeg Jets. Stu Barnes gets his second point of the night also as he was in behind the net. Canucks turned it over. Eagles spotted Brickley. Now watch this quick pass from Eagles to Brickley. Dave Babbage tried to pick off the pass instead of playing the man. Missed it, and it's in the net.
Andy Brickley gets the goal at 7:21. Eagles and Barnes assisting as the Jets go in front of the Canucks 2-1 with 12:28 remaining to play in the second period. Samilov on the faceoff against Eagles. Samilov wins the draw. This is Adams. Adams still has it, works his way into the boards, tries to find Pavel Bure with the pass. It was just too far. Lume dumps it in for Vancouver. Essensa leaves it for Sergei Boughton. Boughton plays it off the sideboards ahead to Shannon. Shannon with a long backhand pass. Solani there to touch it.
And Solani was offside on that pass. And Teemu Solani, as Sergei Boughton and Paul Stewart are having a long conversation. What that was all about, I don't really know. And you wonder about Paul Stewart conversing with the former Soviets. The universal language, I think, is being used there, Steve.
I wasn't aware that Paul Stewart spoke anything but English.
Well,
and hockeyese.
He's from the Boston area, and it's hard to understand his English most of the time.
Stu Barnes on the face-off against Peter Nedved. Nedved wins that one. Jyrki Lume fires it in around the boards. Merzen comes in to block it. This is Mike Lawler for the Jets in his own zone. Plays it neatly off the boards. Into the neutral ice area. Dumped back in by Vancouver, who trailed 2-1. 11:40 remaining to play, second period. Teppo Numminen in his own zone. Passes through the center ice zone area. No Jet there. Barnes now chasing after Dana Merzen. Lawler able to keep it in the Canucks zone. Being watched by Jeff Courtnall. Lawler behind the net for Stu Barnes. Pass in front. Shot is wide. From Russ Romanov. What a line this job this line has done for the Winnipeg Jets in Game 6. Long lead pass for Teppo Numminen, overskating it. He's ridden in the boards by Robert Dirk. Numminen passing in front. McLean able to turn it aside. Kennedy keeps the pressure on. Finally cleared to the center ice area. Ty Domi backhands it in. Lume tries to clear it off the boards. Courtnall for the Canucks. Plays it ahead to Trevor Linden. He couldn't get to it. And then Nedved backhands it into the Jet zone, and the play is blown down.
And Jeff Courtnall has really struggled, and Pat Quinn is trying to get him going again, playing him with Peter Nedved and there Trevor Linden. Last year, you might remember during the playoffs, Pat Quinn scratched Jeff Courtnall for one game. And Courtnall really responded when he came back, played very well, and he's in the doldrums right now. Here's another scoring chance for the Winnipeg Jets. Stu Barnes again creates a chance, and that's Russ Romanov in front, and it just slides wide. This line has really played well for John Paddock.
Dirk fires it into the Jet zone. Numminen. Rink wide to Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk tries to go behind Doug Lidster. Lidster takes him out of the play. Numminen off the glass. Thomas Steen. And Ty Domi beat him into the zone offside. Winnipeg Jets with 10:08 to play. Jets leading 2-1.
Tkachuk doubled over. He got up very slowly on this this hit from Doug Lidster. He's not shy to go along the boards. Tkachuk, and look at Lidster. Good, solid hip check. And they both go down very heavily, and Tkachuk took a long time to get up. Look at him roll over. And now he's headed to the Jet bench. And you can see he's trying to catch his breath.
Face-off in the neutral zone. Ronning wins it. Ronning can't get behind Newman. Mike Lawler at the Jets' blue line. Loses it. Lawler showing great aggression. This is Gerald Diddick. Shoots it into the Jets zone. Mike Eagles there for Winnipeg. Ronning trailing on the play. Sergio Momesso. Trying to get to it for Vancouver. Mike Eagles scoops up the loose puck, shoots it around the boards. Fed back in by the Canucks. Momesso with a hit on Eagles. Lawler off the boards and down the ice. And Diddick touches it first, so the Winnipeg Jets will be called for icing.
A good smart play by Mike Lawler. You're in trouble in your own zone. You're running around. This is the playoffs. You don't have to put on a show, even though you're in your own building. Get the puck off the glass and out. And you can see Mike Lawler now sitting on the bench, getting a little rest, checking out his skates.
Good last shift for Mike Lawler. 9:18 to play, second period. Winnipeg leading 2-1. They trail in the series 3 games to 2. Game 7, if necessary, slated for the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver on Saturday night. The face-off in the Jet zone to the right of Essenza, Craven and Steen. Quick shot from Dixon Ward. It was high. Teemu Selanne at center ice. Just flips it in. Jyrki Lumme tries a pass, intercepted by Housley. This is Alexei Zhamnov. Zhamnov working in, gets the pass in front. Selanne couldn't handle it. A little bit too much on the pass. This is Selanne. Dumped in by the Canucks. Sergei Boughton behind Essenza. Plays it off the boards ahead to Shannon. Shannon finds Selanne. Selanne at the blue line. Leaves it for Zhamnov. Zhamnov digging for it in skates. Shannon behind the net. Pass in front to Shannon. Couldn't control it. Shannon has it for the Jets. Tries the wraparound. Zhamnov shot and right into the pads of Kirk McLean. 8:15 to play, second period. Good action here in Winnipeg.
Alexei Zhamnov shaking his head on the bench. Darren Shannon again creating the scoring chance. 2 Canucks on Shannon and Zhamnov all by himself. Kirk McLean, good stand-up goaltender, gets square to Zhamnov and makes the save.
This is Housley with the shot. McLean with the save. Cleared to center ice. Boughton ahead to Domi. Semenov now working down the right side. Cuts into the middle. Has Bure with him. Adams moving up on the play. Semenov with the shot, and that handcuffs Bob Essenza, but he hangs on.
And again, that scouting report, the Canucks on Bob Essenza, try and go high. But Essenza has adapted his game. He's not falling down as much. Now look at Essenza here. Stands up the whole time. Semenov's trying to go high, short side. Essenza's standing tall. Makes the save and controls the rebound.
Shots on goal through this point in the second period. 16-13 favor the Winnipeg Jets. We've got 7:58 to play in the second period.
Canucks made a late line change and the Jets complained, and Dave Babbage and Gerald Diddick had to come back on the ice.
Semenov and Thomas Steen on the faceoff. Housley for Winnipeg, kept in by Babbage, ahead to Adams. Adams, weak shot, turned aside by Bob Essenza. This is Pavel Bure. Leaves it for Adams. Adams still has it to Semenov. Tkachuk. And he's able to scoop it out and down the ice. Savage at his own blue line. Long lead pass trying to find Bure. Too far.
And Gerald Diddick and Ty Domi. As Domi came off the bench, Diddick gave him a shot. And Domi and Diddick had words. Nothing's going to happen. Close game like this, you can't afford to take an unnecessary, undisciplined penalty. You can see John Paddock and Paul Stewart are talking things over about the line changes. And now Mike Lawler is talking to Paul Stewart. And the Jets were complaining that Pat Quinn was taking too long to make his changes.
Icing brings the face-off down into the Canucks zone to the right of Kirk McLeod. Thomas Steen against the Canucks young captain Trevor Linden. Chuck and Domi, the Winnipeg forwards, along with Steen. Diddick behind his own net. Flipped into the neutral zone. Mike Lawler there for Winnipeg. Lawler, rink wide to Ty Domi. Deflected into the Canucks zone. McLean leaves it for Diddick. But Tkachuk was able to strip it and then get the pass, and then the shot from Domi. Domi for Steen. Tkachuk behind the net, runs into Diddick, and the puck winds up on the mesh. Now down to Chris Cuthbert and this update.
Steve, the Red Wings scored 5 goals in the second period to take a 6-2 lead through 40 minutes. The Leafs put Darren Pupa in net for the third, and midway through, this shot by Sylvain Lefebvre goes through everybody and into the net. The Leafs now trail by 3 with 10 minutes to go in Toronto.
Watch Ty Domi. After a Keith Tkachuk turnover, Domi throws it in deep, but the Canucks playing the body. Sergio Momesso, who took a penalty earlier hitting Ty Domi, takes a run at number 20 on that play.
One of the strongest members of the Winnipeg Jets, certainly not the biggest, but few will equal his strength. Dirk. Rink wide to Lidster. Lidster tries to find Nedved. Nedved eventually gets the pass. Passes in the middle. Nobody there. Courtnall. Back to Hunter. Hunter's shot goes high and wide. Pass in front taken by Olofsson. Lidster keeps it in. Essenza makes the save. And Hunter is decked by Kennedy. And then Kennedy just drops Jeff Courtnall.
And Kennedy's going off. Going to be a high sticking penalty. Larry Ashley comes out onto the ice. Now this is after the whistle, and it's a 2-minute penalty on Dean Kennedy. Here's a turnover. The Jets have had few turnovers. They turn over here. Tim Hunter goes to the net. Good save by Bob Essenza. Now here's where the problem begins. It comes out, goes to Doug Lidster. It's offside. The shot goes through. Now watch Dean Kennedy. That's offside. Kennedy flattens Tim Hunter, and then Courtnall comes in, and Kennedy gives him a little shot. And Kennedy gets a cross-checking penalty.
Dean Kennedy, the Winnipeg Jets captain, puts his team at a disadvantage. Canucks power play will go to work with 6:29 remaining to play in the second period at the Winnipeg Arena.
You have to remember their power play clicked on that controversial goal in the first period, and it didn't take long. They moved the puck around to Yuri Slager. That's his specialty. Shot tipped in by Greg Adams.
Adams, Linden, and Bure, the forwards. Yuri Slager and Murray Craven on the point for Vancouver. Behind the net, Slager keeps it in for Vancouver. Plays it to Bure. Bure with a backhand pass to Adams, and it's cleared by the Jets. Craven in his skates. Ahead to Bure. Bure for Adams. Oh, and a great save by Bob Essenza up at Greg Adams. Canucks keep the pressure on. Slager to Adams. Adams loses it, gets it ahead to Bure, and it's not clear by the Winnipeg Jets. 1:15 remaining to play in the man advantage.
Adams Essensa played him very well, and Adams gave him his best move, tried to slide it through his legs, got his legs down and made the save.
Bure with the puck for Vancouver, shoots it in. Adams along the boards. Linden comes over to help out. Adams gets it. Adams to Murray Craven. To Yuri Slager. His shot from well out is wide. Craven with a shot from a sharp angle, turned aside by Essensa. This is Alexei Zhamnov working with Eagles. Zhamnov with a good move. Almost got around Trevor Linden. Zhamnov falls on the puck, and Paul Stewart points to the face-off circle outside the blue line.
And Zhamnov was trying to draw a penalty on Trevor Linden, but Linden did a good job playing the man and not watching the puck. Here's the Greg Adams chance. Look at Pavel Bure. Nice little touch pass. And watch Bob Essensa. Gets those legs down in tight so that Greg Adams couldn't slip it through. Big save by Bob Essensa.
37 seconds remaining in the power play.
Here's Alexei Zhamnov going around Linden. And look at Linden. Has a stick in good position. And Zhamnov, just trying to draw the penalty, went down. And he couldn't fool Paul Stewart.
Cliff Ronning against Luciano Borsato. Ronning wins the faceoff, gets it back to Craven. Ronning shoots it in. Shannon kicks it to Newman. Newman tries to slap it around the boards, but they can't clear the zone. Now they will. No, they don't. Had a chance, but couldn't. Now they do.
And again, it was Mike Lawler, after Luciano Borsato had a chance, didn't get it out. Lawler making sure, getting it high and over the defenseman.
Ward, 5 seconds remaining in the man advantage for Vancouver. Here's a chance. Craven, shoot! They score!
You can tell from the first reaction, I think Murray Craven's shot went in. And Dixon Ward, just to make sure, banged in the rebound. Now watch the Jets right here. 3 on the one side of the ice. Murray Craven all alone, rolling puck up and over Bob Essensa. And there's Dixon Ward banging it in. Now watch this shot for Craven, rolling puck off the post and off the middle post and in behind Bob Essensa.
And for Murray Craven, that's his second goal of the playoffs and his 4th point of the 93 Stanley Cup playoffs. As we are tied at 2 with 4:23 remaining to play in the second period. Jyrki Lume working against the boards and big Sergei Boughton. Lume still struggling to get to it. Sergio Momesso gets a stick on it. Momesso can't make the play, tied up by Thomas Steen. Now Momesso has it for Vancouver. Linden with a weak shot that is wide. Ronning passes in front. Trevor Linden with a shot, and Essensa goes down to make the save. 3:56 to play, second period. Canucks 2, Jets 2. Welcome back to the Winnipeg Arena. 3:56 to play, second period, and a 2-all tie. Shot from Babbage, blocked in front. Diddick behind to Cliff Ronning. Tied up there by Lawler, gets it to Momesso. Momesso back to Ronning. Ronning tries to wrap around. Comes in front of Momesso. His shot blocked by Lawler. Ronning tripped up, and we're going to get a penalty to the Winnipeg Jets.
And it's Mike Eagles on Cliff Ronning. And Ronning is showing Paul Stewart his hand. That Craven goal was scored 3 seconds after Gene Kennedy got out of the box. Now watch right there, Mike Eagles. That's a pretty good two-hander. There's no doubt about that one. And off goes Eagles. And the Canuck power play is 1 for 2, but really 2 for 2 when you consider that Kennedy didn't get back into the play before Craven scored.
Eagles not happy with the call, but there's nothing he can do about it. We'll spend the next 2 minutes in the penalty box as the power play of the Vancouver Canucks, 1 for 2 tonight, will go to work. The official scoring on that last Canuck goal, Murray Craven, his second of the playoffs, and Courtnall and Ronning, it coming at 15:34. Trevor Linden out there with Greg Adams and Pavel Bure. Craven and Yuri Slager, the point men. Slapped around the boards. Adams able to keep it in. Linden back to Craven. Slager's shot is high. Linden to Craven. Linden to Yuri Slager. And it's cleared down the ice by the Jets.
And again, a good job by the Jets defense. Dean Kennedy playing up well, killing this penalty and making sure that the puck got out.
1:23 in the Vancouver man advantage. Shot around the boards by Slager. This is Trevor Linden. Hits it back to the point to Slager. To Craven. Craven's shot. Save. Essenza.
And they're going to the net. Greg Adams. He tipped one in earlier in the first period on the same kind of play. But this time he didn't have time to get to the net. You can see him fall down behind the net. By the time he gets there, Bob Essenza is able to cover up on the rebound. Now watch Yuri Slager after he shoots it in. He watches the puck. And when you're out there against Dean Kennedy, you can't watch and see your pretty little shoot in. You have to keep your head up.
It certainly helps. Kennedy may be picking on the inexperience of the young defenseman. Back to the point. Jets try to clear, kept in by Slager. To Craven. Pass was too hard. Luciano Borsato knocks it down the ice. Relieves some of the pressure. 56 seconds remaining in the Canucks advantage. We're tied at 2 with 2:26 to play. Second period. Craven tries the pass in the middle. It's blocked. Still has it. Adams. Backhands it to Pavel Bure. Bure. Craven. Linden. Blocked by Craven at the point. Adams was all alone, and Essenza with a good poke check to knock that puck free. And Craven has it hop over his stick, and that'll relieve some pressure.
Kennedy and Borsato got all tied up together, and Adams was wide open in front. Essenza read the play and got right there before the pass and knocked it off Adams' stick.
Jyrki Lume trying to find Dixon Ward with a long lead pass. Sergei Boughton backhands it. Teams are playing even strength now. 1:26 to play, second period in a 2-all tie. Backhanded into the Canucks zone. Dana Merzen behind his own net. Hit by Shannon. Dixon Ward tries to clear the zone. Housley passes in front to Shannon. Shannon working the sideboards against Jyrki Lume. Less than a minute to play now, second period. Sergei Boughton with a shot, blocked by Ronning. Ronning flips it high into the air. Boughton gloves it ahead. Lume backhands it into the Winnipeg zone. Essenza leaves it for Boughton. Teemu Selanne. That play broken up neatly by Gerald Diddick. Ahead to Jeff Courtnall left side. Diddick making a move, doesn't get the return pass. This is Chris King working down the right side to Selanne. Selanne can't keep it in the zone. Alexei Zhamnov rink wide to Phil Housley. Housley just dumps it into the zone. Gerald Diddick is there. Long lead pass. He was looking for Courtnall. This is Mike Lawler. Lawler's shot from well out. Turned aside by Kirk McLean. Diddick has the puck as the horn sounds to end 2 periods of play here at the Winnipeg Arena.
And Phil Housley limped to the dressing room after that big hit by Tim Hunter. right at the end of the second period. The Jets have to watch the penalties. The Canuck power play has been much maligned. It looks very good tonight, and they can't afford to take any foolish penalties in the third period.
Coming up during our second period intermission here in Winnipeg, Chris Cuthbert will be talking to one of the stars for the Winnipeg Jets in game number 5, Darren Shannon, and we'll update the other playoff games for you tonight. The score at the end of the second period is the Jets 2, the Canucks 2. It's a sea of white here in the White House, the Winnipeg Arena, as the Canucks and Jets get set to start period number 3, tied at 2. Will it be the final 20 minutes of the season for the Winnipeg Jets, or will they force a 7th and deciding game in this Smythe Division semifinal Saturday in Vancouver? Teemu Selanne falls to the ice, and it's blown down on the offside.
Selanne tried to break away, but a good job by Trevor Linden, as Linden was right on him. And Teemu Selanne has been very silent tonight. And you have to give credit to the Vancouver Canucks. They've been on him very closely. But Selanne hasn't had that jump that we've seen occasionally during this series. Now look at Linden right here on Selanne. Position, closeness, and strength. Just doesn't let Selanne go.
This is Dana Merzen bringing it forward for Vancouver. Dumps it into the Jet zone. Third period just underway in a 2-all tie. Shannon can't get to that pass. Jyrki Lumme does for Vancouver. Plays it off the glass. Tried to find Momesa with the pass. Winds up on the stick of Mike Lawler. Lawler slaps it in. Rings it around the glass. Selanne has it poked away. Trevor Linden gets it ahead to Sergio Momesso. Momesso leaves it for Ronning. Ronning tried to find Linden, but he overskated the pass. Linden backhands it in front, picked off by the Jets. Thomas Steen ahead for Selanne. Selanne being worked against by Diddick, and Diddick grabbed his stick so Selanne couldn't get to the puck. Babbage to Adams. Adams tries to get behind Housley. He gloved it down and then knocked in by the Canucks. 18:40 to play. Third period. Semenov keeps it in. Adams chasing after it. Fountain beats him to it. Adams tried to find Burry with a pass. The Jets come out. Ty Domi. McLean backhands it off the glass. Pavel Bure in his own zone. Leaves it for Gerald Diddick. Diddick tried to get to Babbage, but Domi is there. And then Semenov picks up the loose puck. Semenov ahead to Adams. Canucks changing on the fly. Pavel Bure against Olofsson. Olofsson ahead to Ty Domi. Jamnov. Jamnov hands off, and it was Chris King with the shot that was wide. Now King has it in the corner for the Jets. Backhands it in front, nobody there. Bure to Lidster. Lidster dumps it in for Sato against Courtnall. Olofsson leaves it for Teppo Numminen. Numminen off the boards for Sato. Tried to find Eagles with the pass. This is Doug Lidster. Off the boards, ahead for Nedved. Courtnall racing after it. Nedved taken into the boards by Eagles. Tim Hunter working against Teppo Numminen. Hunter can't get to it. Courtnall off the boards. Nobody there for Vancouver. And then the Jets are able to clear the zone. McLean with a long lead pass ahead to Dana Merzen. Merzen shoots it in.
A good clearing pass by Bob Essence as the Jets did a good job one-on-one in their own zone. The goaltender getting it out and down the ice.
And Dean Kennedy flips it into the crowd. 16:34 to play, third period.
How can you drive a beautiful new 1993 Grand Am for just $333 a month and no down payment? Come to McNaught Motors and we'll show you a 1993 Grand Am with 6-cylinder engine, air conditioning, 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, AM/FM cassette deck, and much more. All for just $333 a month and no down payment. Smart lease the new Grand Am today at McNaught Motors, 634 Portage.
Start climbing.
Barry lived in a dream world.
Hey, Barry, I'll race you to the top.
I can't. Who's he talking to?
But a special friend
You can do it, Barry!
gave him real courage. And his fantasy hero
Hi, I'm Chuck Norris.
turned into his real-life sidekick.
I've always wanted to see how good you really are. You're only going to see it once.
Yeah. I can't believe that was you.
Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris, sidekicks.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Ice times Pavel Bure a little more than Teemu Selanne. Bure has been a factor. He's created some chances. Teemu Selanne, after 2 periods, has been almost invisible.
Bure now being double shifted by Pat Quinn. Numinen looking for Steen with a pass. Babbage plays it to Dixon Ward. Dixon Ward goes along the boards. Romanuk against Diddick. Now Dave Babbage for the Canucks, passing through the middle of Pavel Bure. Bure wheels in his own zone. Babbage. Stu Barnes tried to clear it, hit the linesman. Puck is held there, and we'll get a face-off. If necessary, the 7th and deciding game in this series will be played Saturday night at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, and that's a 5 o'clock start, Pacific Daylight Time, 7 Central Daylight Time. And don't forget Game 6 in the Calgary-Los Angeles series. Following this telecast will be seen immediately in British Columbia and after the news in Manitoba, and Game 6 at the Great Western Forum in LA just getting underway. Chris will keep us up to date with updates. Steen gets the drawback to Dean Kennedy, to Sergei Boutin. Ronnie off the boards and into the Jets zone. 15:45 to play in a 2-all tie. A turnover. Sergio Momesso backhands it in front. Ronning was there, but he couldn't get the shot away. That could have been a big turnover by the Jets. Now Teemu Selanne, 1-on-1. Mercer with a nice poke check to spring the puck loose. Teemu Selanne came off the boards and picked up the puck, but couldn't get the shot away. Trevor Linden for Ronning. Ronning shot is wide. Here's a chance, 2-on-1. Shannon, Selanne. And Selanne again has it poked away by Mercer. Good action, early 3rd period. 15:05 to play at a 2-all tie. Linden, shot high. Jamnov to Domi. And cleared down the ice.
Dana Merzen very effective on Teemu Selanne, although Darren Shannon passed that puck so quickly on the 2-on-1. Merzen knew where it was going. It was right there. Selanne didn't have much chance.
Lidster backhands it in. Seppo Numinen for the Jets. Ahead to Jamnov. Numinen. And Lidster intercepts that pass. Plays it up to Greg Adams. Back to Lidster. Lidster leading the rush. Can't get the pass away. Dirk. Jamnov now for the Jets. Tkachuk. Pavel Bure doing a good job coming back. Lawler into the corner. Ty Domi is there. This is Tkachuk. Lawler slaps it in. And Ty Domi upended. Fans wanting a call. One time they score!
It's Keith Tkachuk from the slot. And Tkachuk scores his 4th goal in 4 games. Now look at the coverage. It's not bad. Except Tkachuk is far enough away from Doug Lidster. He's in no man's land.
First shot of the third period, and it's a big one for Keith Tkachuk. Puts the Jets in front 3-2 with 13:46 to play in the third period.
Number 7, Keith Tkachuk. The assist, number 10, Alexei Zhanov.
Pass in front, turned aside by Essenza.
Mike Lawler.
Lawler and Zhamnov assisting on the goal from Tkachuk. And it's cleared into the crowd.
It's hard to tell that John Paddock's team has just scored. You look at his expression. And Keith Tkachuk doesn't look that excited. Played in the playoffs last year. You remember he's still considered a rookie. But he did play in the playoffs last year, and white noise is present again here at the Winnipeg Arena.
Said that this noise is orchestrated by the scoreboard. Right now it is. They are asking the crowd to get pumped. That hardly seems necessary when their team has just got in front by a goal. Linden hung on to it too long. Cleared by the Jets. Lume shoots it back in for Sato. Working down the right side. Eagles with the slapper, and that hit McLean. Eagles from a sharp angle. Running. Momesso tries to find Linden. Shot from Jyrki Lume. Gets the rebound. They score! Sergio Momesso!
And the Winnipeg Jets coverage in their own zone left a little to be desired on this play as Jyrki Lume jumped in. And Bob Essensa, watch Essensa's save on Jyrki Lume. That's a big one right there. And then Momesso goes to the net. He's got 3 Jets around him. Now watch Sergio Momesso right there. He's got 3 Jets within striking distance, but none of them have tied up his stick.
7:09, the time of that big goal from Sergio Momesso that once again ties the game, this time at 3. That's about as animated as we've seen John Paddock all night.
Sergio Momesso got the game winner the last time these two teams met here by the same sort of move, going to the net without the puck. Momesso went to the net. Jyrki Lume chipped it up. Momesso was there to bang it in.
When the line of Cliff Ronning, Momesso, and Sandlak was working so well, that's what those two wingers did so effectively. They crashed the net. Olsen in his own zone. Pass picked off by Adams. Adams with a shot that's wide. Hooray. Along the boards with Anatoly Semenov, and it's poked free and into the neutral zone. Babbage off the boards looking for Adams. Here come the Jets. Olsen tried to find Solani with the pass. Babbage from center ice into the Jets zone. 12:15 to play, third period in a 3-all tie. Babbage just dumps it in. Sergei Boughton goes back to touch it, and it's icing against the Winnipeg Jets. We are tied at 3.
At one point, they even go, think we could get our logo on the rink boards? And we go, we think it'd be much better to put it on the ice, okay? Then the whole world will know that on May 3rd, the ice is black. They go, so when do you plan on showing our product? And we go, at the end of the game? Yeah, but what'll you do if people don't watch till the end? Well, they'll just have to see it on May 3rd, because on May 3rd, the ice is black.
Way back before the Pathfinders, before the Explorers, even before the Cherokees, there was Blazer. Now the first sport utility vehicle of its kind offers you all this, and the performance of a 200 horsepower V6. You can spend thousands more on something else, but there's only one way to get the experience of a Chevy Blazer, the vehicle that originated the species.
The Calgary Flames need a victory in Los Angeles tonight to force a 7th game in their Smythe Division semi. Off to a good start. Rob Stauber nonchalant. Greg Kozlowski picks his pocket, knocks it in the net. Gary Roberts in for Calgary gets an assist with Joe Nieuwendyk on the first Calgary goal.
Good puck handling goalies get burned when they play the puck like that.
Kirk McLean plays the puck for the Canucks. This is the line of Brickley, Romanuk, and Stu Barnes out there for the Jets. Craven around the boards, kept in by Kennedy. Kennedy's shot hit the post and came right back out. It hit the far post. You can't come much closer than that. Craven with a backhand pass. Doesn't find his man. Andy Brickley. And Robert Dirk with no helmet. Olison in his own zone. Rink wide to Kennedy. Ahead to Ty Domi. Domi shoots it into the left side. Jyrki Lume there for the Canucks. Lume passes through center ice. Teppo Numminen for the Jets. A giveaway. Hunter's shot, and it got through the pads of Essenza, and then it was passed in front by Hutter, but Essenza was down and able to see it and just pulled it in.
Good chances at both ends as the Kennedy shot hits the inside of the post. McLean thought it was in. You could tell from his reaction, he thought it was in. And at the other end, Tim Hunter's shot went through Bob Essenza. Jeff Courtnall had a whack at it. Now watch where this one hits. Inside of the post, comes out the other side. And in the Jet zone, Tim Hunter's shot went through Bob Essenza. Here's another angle on the shot off the post. Inside, in behind the goaltender, nobody there to bang it in. And at the other end, watch this shot from Tim Hunter. Goes through Bob Essenza's legs, can't find it. Jeff Courtnall takes a whack at it. And Essenza is able to get down and make the save.
Sergei Bowden behind the Jets goal, dumps it into center ice. Eagles chasing after it. Held up by Merzen. Now Ronning just slaps at it, and then Merzen gloves it to the boards. Sergei Bowden plays it off the boards. Momesso ridden into the boards by Eagles. Shamrock for the Jets, gets the shot away, turned aside by Kirk McLean. Clip Ronning at center to Momesso. Momesso tried to find Ronning with a pass. It was blocked. This is Ty Domi all alone on the right side. Domi passes back to Tkachuk. Tkachuk. Back to Boughton. Sergei Boughton with the shot, and it's blocked by McLean.
And now there's some pushing and shoving in front of Kirk McLean. Good play by Keith Tkachuk to set up Sergei Boughton, but Kirk McLean stood up well, made the save, and controlled the rebound as the Jets were in good position and a rebound come out. Here's the play to Boughton. Now watch McLean comes out, sees it, makes the save, and look at where Ty Domi is, waiting for that rebound that doesn't come. Here's the shot. Look at where Bowden's shooting from, right in the middle, 30 feet out. And McLean right there to make the save.
10:14 to play for Kirk McLean and the Vancouver Canucks in a 3-3 tie here at the Winnipeg Arena. Game number 6.
Teemu Selanne has all 3 game winners for the Winnipeg Jets this year, including their 1 regular season win. Hasn't done much tonight.
Lawler backhands it in. Shannon, watched by Babbage. Shannon backhands it in front. Steen was there, but couldn't get the shot away. His pass in front. And Anatoly Semenov, playing cleanup on the play, is able to clear for the Canucks. Teppo Numminen ahead to no one in a white sweater. Backhanded into the Jet zone. Teppo Numminen, rink wide to Teemu Selanne off his skate. Shannon goes in. Selanne keeps coming. Gets the shot away. It's a knuckleball that McLean had to be sharp on. Adams. To Bure. To Semenov. Semenov's shot turned aside by Essenza. Bure Gets the loose puck. Bure being watched by Lawler. Semenov tries to backhand in front. Lawler holding Bure down on the ice. Bure loses his helmet. This is Adams. Fires it along the glass. Lawler for the Jets. Backhands it down the ice. Lidster giving chase. Lidster. Fires it to Boughton. Boughton just dumps it back in. And we get a whistle on the play. We are tied at 3 with 8:43 to play, third period.
Hey man, what do you want to do? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe finish high school. In college. Wife. House. Kids. Bowl on Wednesdays. Work off the old gut. Make middle management. I hang it up and head on down to Miami. Buy some white shoes and pants come up to my chest and complain about the government full time. No, man. I mean, what do you want to do this afternoon? Oh. The beach. I love it!
After Calgary took the lead, Ron Stern took a 5-minute major game misconduct for high sticking on the power play. An Old Firm back in business. Curry to Gretzky, his second of the series, 8th point. And the Kings have tied the Flames at 1.
And we've got a tie here at the Winnipeg Arena at 3 with 8:35 remaining to play in the third period. Doug Lidster touches the puck.
And it's been mostly Winnipeg Jets after the Canucks have tied it up. And Kirk McLean has come up with some big saves, and you can see John Paddock. They've only given up maybe 2 quality scoring chances here in the third period. One of them went in, and the other one almost did when Tim Hunter slipped one through Essence's legs, but it didn't make it all the way to the goal line.
You think if the Jets get a 10-goal lead, we'll see John Paddock smile?
I doubt it, unless it's in Game 7.
Face-off to the right of Bob Essenza in the Jets zone. Murray Craven and Mike Eagles. The opposing setters. Olesen with it for the Jets. Played ahead to Mike Eagles. Eagles has that pass go off the leg of Merzen. Courtnall ahead to Hunter. He loses it to Kennedy and then slaps it away and is able to come up with it. Craven fires it behind the Jets goal. Hunter to Courtnall. Courtnall back to Hunter. Craven to Courtnall. He couldn't control it. Borsato for Eagles. King making a move on the left side. Back through to Eagles, who loses his stick. Courtnall for the Canucks. At center ice. Shoots it in as the Canucks make a change. 7:43 to play. Tied at 3. Game 6. Babbage shoots it in. Essenza leaves it for Frederick Olesen. Olesen dumps it in. Gerald Diddick ahead to Cliff Ronning. Ronning to Momesso. His shot turned aside by Essenza. Weak shot from the corner. Olesen plays it to Domi on the right side. Domi dumps it in. Kachuk is there. McLean forced to play it. Goes behind his own net to Babbage. Babbage ahead to Momesso. 6:59 to play in a 3-all tie. Linden and Ronning fighting for it. Lawler picks it up for the Jets behind his own goal. Lawler ahead to Teppo Numminen. Numminen shoots it in off the boards. McLean backhands it out to an open wing. Pavel Bure ahead to Anatoly Semenov. Semenov passing in front, goes off the mesh. Bure to Semenoff. His shot is blocked. Adams couldn't get the shot away. Doug Lidster in his own zone. Trying to find Semenoff with a pass, but Boughton comes up with it. He plays it off the boards and down the ice. Dirk goes back to touch it, and the Winnipeg Jets will be called for icing with 6:03 remaining to play in the third period.
Fans are complaining about that icing call as it was the Vancouver defense pinched in at the red line. And most times the linesman will let that go once the defenseman takes the man instead of the puck.
Game 6, Calgary Flames and LA Kings now underway. Don't forget, immediately following this telecast, viewers in BC will see it, and viewers in Manitoba will get the game immediately following the news. We've got Game 6 here in Winnipeg. Canucks lead the series 3-2, and we're deadlocked at 3 in the third period with 6:03 remaining to play. Face-off in the Jet zone. Olsen behind his own net. This is Stu Barnes out there with Eagles and Brickley. Brickley behind the net, try to find Barnes. Winds up on the stick of Courtnall. Courtnall dumps it through center ice. Olsen goes back for it. And it's icing against the Vancouver Canucks with 5:41 remaining in the third.
Jeff Courtnall's looking at Jyrki Lumme. You see overtime records, 12 of the 44 playoff games. They looked at that Islander-Washington series and all those overtime games they played.
They like extra time in the Wales division.
Boston swept, but most of those games were very close.
The face-off in the Canucks zone to the left of Kirk McLean. Thomas Steen against Murray Craven. Shannon and Teemu Selanne, along with Steen up front for the Jets. Numminen and Lawler on the points. Lumme plays it around the boards for Trevor Linden. Numminen keeps it in with a backhander. Around the boards. Selanne there for the Jets. Teppo Numminen backhands it in front. Shannon was there, couldn't get the shot away. Now the Canucks come out, but again, the Jets with good forechecking. Jets keep it in. Teppo Numminen almost tipped in by Dana Merzen. Shannon behind the Canucks goal, tied up by Jyrki Lumme. Selanne comes in to help out. It's Trevor Linden who sprung free. Gets it to Courtnall. Courtnall dumps it in.
What a save by Kirk McLean on the deflection by Dana Merzen. Good concentration, followed the puck, got the arm up just to deflect it up and over the crossbar.
Sergei Boughton ahead to Shannon. Shannon dumps it in. Gerald Diddick behind his own goal. Diddick's shot deflected. And it's called on the offside. 4:30 to play in a 3-all tie here in Winnipeg.
Imagine what would happen if modern man found the way to recreate the oldest and greatest species to ever roam the earth.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
On June 11th,
Hey, look at this.
Universal Pictures presents
Can I touch it?
a Steven Spielberg film, an adventure 65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park. The gates open June 11th.
My staff is very good.
No getting around it. Service is definitely a hands-on business. That is my job, to provide that personal touch.
I think our customers appreciate the good service we give them.
At Esso, we're dedicated to getting you on your way with fast, friendly service.
Esso has standards, and I have standards.
And the Esso card with valuable Esso rewards gives our customers great service.
Didn't we already see this in Game 5 of the series, Steve. Both goaltenders playing well in a 3-3 tie and having to make big key saves late in the game.
Babbage tried to find Adams with a pass. He was upended by Sergei Boutin. Olesen behind his own goal. 4:18 remaining, third period. Semenov for Bure. Bure. Big shot. Deflects off of Boutin. Comes to Olesen. This is Alexei Zhamnov. Rink wide to Ty Domi working against Babbage. Ty Domi goes down. Loose puck picked up by Pavel Bure, the Russian rocket. To Semenov. He dumps it in, and the Canucks elect to change. 3:48 to play. Domi working the left side, gets the shot away high into the crowd here at the Winnipeg Arena.
Winnipeg Jets fighting very valiantly here in the third period, trying to get the go-ahead goal without their number one offensive star. Phil Housley has been sitting there since the 3-minute mark of the third period. He's got sore ribs. Remember, he hobbled off after that big hit from Tim Hunter at the end of the second period, played one shift in the third period, and he's been sitting there ever since.
And you know how damaging a sore set of ribs can be. You have great difficulty moving and breathing. Breathing rather essential if you're going to do a lot of moving. Face-off in the Canucks zone to the right of Kirk McLean. Lidster one-hands it to Robert Dirk. Dirk flips it to center ice. Teppo Numminen in his own zone to Borsato. This is Cliff Ronning. Quick pass to Linden. Linden bumped by Numminen. Lidster tied up by King. Shot him by Eagles. Robert Dirk behind his own net. Watched by Eagles. Dirk ahead to Ronnie. He can't control it. Now Trevor Linden comes away for Vancouver. Ahead to Ronnie. Lawler behind his own net. 2:51 to play, third period. In a 3-3 tie. Dumped in by the Jets. Jyrki Lumme starts out for Vancouver. Lumme backhands it in. Essenza leaves it for Boutin. Thomas Steen. Teemu Selanne. Jyrki Lumme now for Vancouver as Selanne is upended by Hunter. Merzen behind his own net. Lumme. Finds Courtnall with a pass, and the play is blown down.
And you notice the lead pass to Teemu Selanne. There was 3 Canucks on him right away. Selanne tried to draw the penalty against Tim Hunter. He's not going to get it away from the play from Paul Stewart with less than 3 minutes left. You might as well stay on your feet and try and get involved. Now here's Tim Hunter, and look at Hunter, gives him a little tug right there, and Selanne goes down. That's not going to be called by Paul Stewart away from the plate. The Canucks are doing a good job on Selanne when he gets that long lead pass. There's 3 Canucks right there.
2:14 to play. Third period here in Winnipeg in a 3-all tie. Selanne working against Merzen. This is Pavel Bure. Stopped by Shannon. Adams. And it goes off a player on the Canucks bench. I think Doug Lidster managed to get a glove up and knock it back onto the ice surface.
Shannon and Pavel Bure had an exchange along the boards, and that was ignored by Paul Stewart.
Coming right down to the wire. 1:57 to play.
And here's the exchange. Look at the elbow from Bure. And Paul Stewart chose to ignore that one. Good hit by Darren Shannon.
Face-off just inside the Canucks blue line. Merzen to Lumme. Lumme ahead to Semenov. He couldn't control it. Lawler plays it off the boards right to Pavel Bure. Bure can't find anybody to pass to, and it's knocked away. Back into the Canucks zone. 1:38 to play, third period. Jyrki Lumme logged a lot of ice time in this third period. Bure can't clear the zone. Kept in by the Jets. Ty Domi to Tkachuk. A shot, and McLean is there to make the save off of Ty Domi, who was parked at the corner. Pass comes in front. No Jet there. Canucks come back. 3-on-2. Led by Pavel Bure. Bure shot wide of the mark by Greg Adams. One minute remaining to play, third period in a 3-all tie. Jets needing the win to stay alive in the series. Canucks need the win to advance to the Smythe final. Will it come in regulation time for either team? This is Luciano Borsato working against Babbage. Borsato backhands it in front. Gerald Diddick there for the Canucks. Diddick high off the glass. Sergei Boutin now for the Winnipeg Jets. 30 seconds to play, third period. Andy Brickley with one of the Jet goals tonight. Cliff Ronning tries to clear the zone, gets it ahead to Sergio Momesso. This is Diddick. Diddick with the slapper, turned aside by Bob Essenza, right to Momesso. Momesso behind the goal. Ronning in the corner, leaves it for Linden. Linden passes in front, through the crease, nobody there. Shot from well out, taken by Robert Dirk, and Essenza not taking any chances, fielding that like a shortstop.
And Luciano Borsato is down. He blocked that shot, and he got turned around before he blocked the shot from Robert Dirk. And he has yet to get to his feet. Here's the shot. Watch Borsato. He's down early, and he gets it in the back of the leg. And look at Bob Essenza. Mine. Easy out. And Borsato is going to stay on the ice, which surprises me as he had a tough time getting back up to his feet.
Face-off in the Jet zone. Possibly time for one Vancouver shot. 2.2 seconds remaining in the third period. Are we headed to a second straight overtime session in this series between the Jets and the Canucks? Nedved will take the face-off for Vancouver, working against Thomas Steen. Nedved gets the shot. Essenza with the save. Puck comes loose. They score! Sergio Momesso!
And
was there time?
Now,
was there time?
2.2. The green light's on, but the red light didn't come on. And we're going to have to go to the video replay for this one.
Oh my! We've already had controversy with the video replay on a goal by Greg Adams.
Here's Nedved with the shot. Momesso off the post and in. Now count to 2.2 seconds. The goal is being under review. The green light's on. That's what John Paddock is pointing to, the green light, and not the red light. 2.2 seconds left when that puck was dropped. Nedved with the shot right away on Thomas Steen. Essence of the save, and the Jets coverage in their own zone. Not very good. Momesso jumped through and rattled it off the post and in.
And once again, Paul Stewart goes to the phone. Upstairs here in the press box. Paddock and the Jets can only stand and wait, as can the Vancouver Canucks.
And the Canucks bench erupted as Momesso rang that one in off the post, but was the clock run down to 0?
Momesso had the tying goal for the Canucks. Does he have the winner? Stewart waving the players back as we go into the video replay booth. Waiting for the decision.
It's hard to believe with 2.2 seconds they'd have time for one shot and then be able to go and get the rebound and bang that in. And again, Matt Pavlich and Wayne Forsey looking at this one. And there's a look at Pat Quinn. We know which way he wants it to go.
The Winnipeg Arena will erupt. Either way, I guarantee you that. If it's no goal, it means we get overtime. If it's a goal, this series is over. being reviewed in the video replay booth.
Frame by frame, and there, can we see the clock? 1.4, 1.2, 1.0. Now, is it in? 1.1, there, it's down to 0. And is the puck across the line? It hits the post before it goes in. And we're into tenths of seconds here.
This is close. This is very, very close. And so much riding on this call from the video replay booth.
They're saying 4/10 of a second. It's off the post. And I think the Vancouver Canucks are going to go home a happy bunch here.
Oh, this is so close. And you're seeing what the video replay people are seeing right now.
And there's 4/10 of a second. 3, 2, 1. Is it 1/10 of a second? Their arms are up in the air. It looks to me like the Vancouver Canucks are going to wrap this one up here in Winnipeg.
Paul Stewart gets to relay the message once it comes down from the replay booth.
Well, maybe not. Now,
is it in? Does it count? Do the Canucks win the series? Do the Jets force overtime? All that being decided right now. And all the Canucks can do is stand and wait along with the Winnipeg Jets. They're all looking up at the video replay booth. They can't see anything. We can, and that's what the replay judges are looking at.
And you can see their arms are up in the air, and the clock has expired there. We can see the 0 on the clock there. But it looked to me like they had about 0.3 seconds as it hit the post. Now, did it go across the line before it went down to 0?
Earlier in this game, we had controversy on the Canucks opening goal. Greg Adams originally, we thought, scored the goal on a shot from Yuri Slager.
Now here we go again as we look at Bob Essensa. It's less than a second for sure. Now there's 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1.
They need to go to hundredths of a second because that's the difference.
Clocks aren't big enough, Steve.
Stewart still in conversation with the video replay officials.
And the thing is, the coverage of the Winnipeg Jets with 2.2 seconds, how can you let the centerman take the shot directly, and then how can you let the winger jump through and have a clean shot on the rebound?
Man on the phone in the video replay booth is Matt Pavlik, supervisor of officials for this series between the Canucks and Jets. He's in conversation with Paul Stewart, the referee. And as I said, this place is going to erupt one way or the other.
And they have it frame by frame in the video replay judges booth, as we saw. And like the Greg Adams goal, this is close.
But with so much riding on the outcome, the decision from these gentlemen, they're going to take their time. And I can't say as I blame them.
And look at John Paddock. You said it right, Steve. Now, how excited is he?
All they can do is stand there and wait. There's nothing they can do. They don't have any of this technology at the bench. They can't see what they're seeing. Now, Stewart will relay to the captains. Is it a goal or no goal?
And try and get off the ice as quickly as he can.
There is no time left on the scoreboard clock, so it's either overtime. No goal! We have overtime! The goal has been disallowed. Sergio Momesso, probably the most frustrated of the Vancouver Canucks. He thought he had the game winner. But we are going to overtime for the second game in a row.
And Steve, I'm almost most appreciative that this is happening because this series has been very intense. It's been very close. Why not have a clean play? Why not have a goal that's not disputed, decided? We're going to overtime. We're starting fresh.
Tremendous drama and excitement here at the Winnipeg Arena as Paul Stewart now explaining things to the Canucks assistant captain Doug Lidster and the Jets captain Dean Kennedy. Lidster pleading his case.
And it's hard for Paul Stewart to explain it because he hasn't got the benefit of the video replay that Matt Pavlich and Wayne Forsey are using upstairs.
Well, the fans have reason for celebration, albeit it may be only temporary, but the Jets are still alive. We are going to have overtime here at the Winnipeg Arena in Game 6. And here's the reaction of Pat Quinn.
And Kurt McLean's reaction. Now here you see Pat Quinn.
All he does is stare at the clock, shake his head.
And now Doug Lidster and Dean Kennedy go off the ice.
So, stand by for overtime for the second game in a row. Canucks 3, Jets 3 in Game 6. It's a game the Jets have to win. With me now is Matt Pavlich, the supervisor of officials for this series between the Canucks and Jets. Matt, what's your version of that controversial no-goal?
Well, we went through it about 5 or 6 or 7 replays, and we just kept going back and back, and we had the clock, and with about 4/10 of a second, it goes in behind the 2 players standing in front of the net, and when there was no time on the clock, we couldn't see the puck in the net, so we sent it back to Stu. It's inconclusive with us, so then we have to send it back to the people on the ice. And Stewie conferred with his linesman, and they thought it was no goal. In their mind, it was no goal.
Matt, let's take a look at that goal again, and maybe with our angle, of course, you can't see the time on it.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, you know. It hits the post there and goes across, but we couldn't see that. If we had the clock burnt in, then we would have, but we didn't have a clock burnt in on that.
It's a tough position to put Stewie. Once again, white noise is pumped up here at the Winnipeg Arena as we get set to start overtime. The second time in this series that the two teams have needed an extra session to decide the outcome.
Hey, look at Bob Essens, who made the save with 2 seconds left on Peter Nedved as Nedved jumped through and then was beaten on the shot off the post. You wonder if Phil Housley can play here in overtime. Here's the tying goal. Sergio Momesso going to the net. And Jyrki Lumme. Ryan Walter talked about it with Chris, how it's usually that kind of goal. And there's a tying goal. Will the winner be the same? I think so. I agree with Ryan. It'll be one of those where the guy drives to the net, creates something from nothing.
They call that a dirty goal. Those kind of goals that are scored so often in the extra session.
13 is good luck. He hasn't done much tonight. But Ryan Walter picked Pavel Bure to score for the Canucks, and if you were going to pick for the Winnipeg Jets, you'd have to go with Taylor Solani.
And remember, every time the Winnipeg Jets have beaten the Vancouver Canucks this season, who has scored the winner?
That's right, number 13. And we look at Anatoly Semenov. He's been good the last 3 games. He's played very well, and he looks like he's got some offensive threats back. He's playing with Pavel Bure more now. Murray Craven's played well for Vancouver. And without Phil Housley, the Winnipeg Jet defense has played pretty well. But it's always that offensive threat that you don't get when you don't have Housley on the ice.
Canucks' overall record in overtime in playoffs, 5-10. Let's get you up to date on other playoff action tonight. Detroit beating Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens 7-3, beating them rather soundly. A goal and 3 assists for Paul Coffey. That series goes back to Joe Louis Arena, tied at 3. The LA Kings are leading the Calgary Flames 3-2. And they are in the first intermission. We are in overtime here at the Winnipeg Arena. Canucks and Jets tied at 3. Jets needing a win to stay alive and force Game 7 in Vancouver on Saturday night. And and the Canucks are called for icing.
Remember in Game 5, Vancouver had 3 great scoring chances on the first shift. Couldn't beat Bob Essenza, and the Jets came down and got an ugly one. Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, high in the rafters here at the Winnipeg Arena. Those seats aren't so bad. You get up even higher than that in some places in this arena, and you have to watch from a monitor.
Face-off in the Canucks zone. We're in overtime. This is Clip Ronning coming out for Vancouver. This is Teemu Selanne. Selanne with the shot. McLean save. Linden behind his own net. Loses it. Pass in front. Thomas Steen. And it goes through the top of the crease. Trevor Linden starts out for Vancouver. Linden working the right side against Teppo Numminen. Chance for running, and it goes over the net. Thomas Steen starts out for the Jets. Steen tries to find Shannon with a pass. Gerald Diddick comes up with it. Momesso just shoots it in. Ronning gives chase. Mike Lawler starts out for the Jets. Lawler ahead to Steen. Steen shoots it into the corner. Diddick behind his own goal. Babbage up to Semenoff, and he dumps it into the Jet zone. Played off the glass. Lidster waits for his teammates to get on side and then shoots it in. Jamnov can't get to it. Ty Domi into the neutral ice area. Doug Lidster for the Canucks. This is overtime at the Winnipeg Arena. 18:20 to play in the first extra session. Lidster behind his own goal. Semenoff at his own blue line. Ahead to Adams. He couldn't control it. Jamnov fires it into the bench.
Alexei Jamnov tried to just clear it in, and he cleared it right into his bench. Tried to fire it in deep. Regular season overtime records. You look at the Vancouver Canucks, they never lost a game, but only won one. Jets 2-2-7. An all-time playoff overtime record, 5-10 for Vancouver, 3-5 for the Jets.
The Jets won Game 5 in this series in overtime in Vancouver. They'd like to make it 2 in a row and force a 7th deciding game. But they have to win this one first. Murray Craven to Courtnall, and Courtnall shot is wide. Did Essenza get a piece of it?
Yes, he did. When he dove across, he took it off his head. What a save by Bob Essenza.
McLean comes out to play it. Tim Hunter passing in the middle to Robert Dirk. Dirk dumps it in. Great opportunity for the Canucks. They squandered a couple in Game 5. Pass in front, taken by Stu Barnes. Stu Barnes banks it off the boards and down the ice. Jyrki Lumme touches it, and he almost put it in his own net. All he had to do was touch it, though, to get the icing.
It was rolling, and it might have rolled right in. Jeff Courtnall on the 2-on-1. Frederick Olofsson stood up at the red line, took a crazy chance, and it creates a 2-on-1. Now there's Olofsson trying to get back. Murray Craven, who had played very well, over to Courtnall, and watch Bob Essenza dive across and get a stick on it. It's not in till it's in, and look at Essenza. Throws his body and gets his arm and his stick on that shot by Courtnall. What a save by Essenza. Now watch at the other end. Look at the sweep here. Look how it's curling. And Jyrki Lumme's there to touch it before it curls over the line.
The face-off in the Winnipeg Jets zone to the right of Bob Essenza. Lawler plays it along the boards. Lumme tries to keep it in, but can't. 17:02 remaining in the first overtime period in a 3-3 tie. Here's a chance, perhaps. Knocked away by Momesso. Running goes down. Jets keep the pressure on. Selanne's pass. Looking for Steen. Doesn't get to him. Linden passes through center ice. Mike Lawler there for the Jets. Lumme to the right side. No Canuck there. Teppo Numminen through the middle to Steen, to Solani. He had the overtime winner for Winnipeg in Game 5. Pass behind the net.
And Phil Housley out for his first shift since early in the third period. We'll have to watch him.
And it's icing against the Vancouver Canucks, so they'll bring it all the way back into the Canucks zone.
Paul Stewart has just gone to the Winnipeg Jet dressing room, and you have to wonder whether he's hurt.
All we've got is two linesmen out there.
Stewart's gone down the hallway to the Jet dressing room. Paul Dvorsky is the backup. And you can see Paul Stewart. Now, is he just adjusting equipment?
John, it looks as if it's perhaps nothing more than equipment problem for Paul Stewart. We hope so.
It's around his knee, and you wonder whether he's already got his knee taped and he's just redoing the tape. And you can see right there, it's above and below his knee.
Well, you mentioned that Paul Dvorsky is the backup official as Paul Stewart comes back out onto the ice. And this game will resume. We welcome the viewers that have been watching the Calgary-Los Angeles game from the Great Western Forum in LA. Welcome to Winnipeg, where we are tied at 3 in overtime. 16-12 remaining to play in the overtime session. Jets need a win to prolong the series, force a 7th game. Shot from the point, wide of the mark. Adams looking for Pavel Bure with a pass through the center. Sergei Boutin there to ride Bure into the end boards. Dirk keeps it in. His shot from well out, well wide. Semenov passes to Tkachuk, and it's a 3-on-2 for the Jets. Jamnov working his way down the left side, passes in through the middle looking for Tkachuk, and he couldn't get to it. And Tkachuk has his stick held by Robert Dirk. Fans don't like that. Greg Adams now for the Canucks, working his way in, gets the shot away. They score! The Vancouver Canucks.
Now the Jets are complaining about this one as Greg Adams drove to the net. And Paul Stewart now is talking things over.
Well, we've already had a couple of goals examined by the video replay people. Are we going to get a third? That is the question.
And it looks like we might here as Paul Stewart now is skating over to the penalty box. And it looks like we're going to get another video replay. Here's Greg Adams going around Mike Lawler. Now, does Adams kick this one in? He's all tied up by Lawler. There it is. Now, does he drag it in with his body? Essensa made the original save. Now watch here, we got a better view. Look at Adams, Essensa with the save, and he gets it off the heel of his skate. But whether that was intentional or not, who knows? Paul Stewart is talking things over with Ty Domi, but Stewart is going down towards the referee's exit.
Kirk McLean is already out there embracing his teammates. He feels they have a win. Pat Quinn is on the ice. He's confident that this series is wrapped up. The game is over, and the goal by Greg Adams will stand, and the Canucks will skate away with a 4-3 victory.
Driving to the net. Ryan Walter talked about it. There's Greg Adams. Good strength around Mike Lawler. Going to the net. And it goes off. And you can see John Paddock. Go shake hands, boys.
This one is over. The Canucks have won it. Quinn has to go off the ice to protect himself. The fans are raining debris onto the ice. Everything is coming down. It's unbelievable. Somebody may get hurt if this doesn't stop. The Jets very upset. But this series is over as the two teams shake hands. The Vancouver Canucks win a thriller here at the Winnipeg Arena tonight 4-3 and take the series 4-2.
And you see Teemu Selanne shaking hands and talking things over with Jyrki Lumme in their native tongue. But tonight, Teemu Selanne was a non-factor. For the Jets, their best players were Stu Barnes, Andy Brickley, Paul Romanek, Bob Essensa, Mike Lawler, and when your big stars don't show up in a game like tonight, you're really behind the 8 ball, and that's what happened for the Winnipeg Jets. You look at Keith Tkachuk, he had a strong series again. He was John Paddock's best player last year during the playoffs and a real factor in this series.
Canucks backup netminder Kay Whitmore, who did not see any action in this series.
And you see Kay Whitmore with his helmet on. As you said, Steve, Whitmore put his mask on because things are raining down from above. And Kirk McLean, what a solid series he had. Both goaltenders played very well. Trevor Linden, strong leader for the Vancouver Canucks. And there's Bob Essensa. What a series he had. What a save he made on Jeff Courtnall earlier in the overtime. And then Greg Adams breaking in. And Adams managed to carry the puck in with him going to the net.
Trevor Linden shaking hands with John Paddock as Ty Domi and the Winnipeg Jets make their way off the ice. Their season is over. Chris?
Thanks, Steve. With us now, the coach and general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, Pat Quinn. Pat, it is finally over, and I think you're glad that we can officially say that now.
Yeah, it's we did. If you did a proper analysis at the end of the period, it was in the net before the clock had expired. I don't know what you do about those things. I guess you have to take them, but we got a real good bounce here, just like Winnipeg did the other night. Boy, they're a good young club, and they certainly came to play and give us a lot of fits, and I'm thankful that we got through.
Your team kept coming back all night, 3 times down, and even with the problem at the end of the game, they bounced back from that too.
Yeah, they really did. Our club wasn't resilient the other night, but they were tonight. They battled hard, and I'm real proud of them.
Is this club where you want to be as we see the Canucks now starting to celebrate? I know you want to get in there. Is the club where you want to be heading into the second round?
Well, we played hard. We have to play with a little more intelligence. It was a really good series. Every game was close and well fought. We've got to do some improvement in some areas. We got in some problems in our zone a little bit running around. And that's not typical of our hockey club, but playoff pressure does that.
You're one of the men that influences decisions in the league. I know you want to celebrate the win, but is video replay a good idea after a night like this?
Well, if you do it right, it's certainly something you want. The analysis on the final, what should have been a goal, was not done correctly, and I'm fully in favor. I was in favor when they asked for it, and I hope the procedure gets where it's fail-proof.
Pat, congratulations on the win. We'll see you in the second round of the Smythe Division Final.
Thank you very much.
The Vancouver Canucks are through. They'll wait the opponent. Will